Chapter 1515. Sealed Lord. As for the nether beast, all of its fluffy hair was standing up straight. It was staring at the surrounding cultivators and roaring as if it were going to rush out at any moment. Its reaction speed was very slow, so it hadn't noticed Wang Lin's sudden departure. It was still roaring and making a fierce expression. It slowly seemed to hear the rumble behind it. It faintly perceived that something was wrong. Why were these cultivators not looking at it but looking behind it instead? Wang Lin's voice slowly entered its ears. It made the nether beast subconsciously turn its dull head to take a look. Just like this, it slowly turned around and looked at the empty space behind it. It stared in a daze at Wang Lin, who was a distance away from it, charging at Taoist water. After a moment of daze, the nether beast's eyes suddenly shrank. Its roar suddenly stopped, and an even more violent roar came out. However, this roar was clearly different from before. This was a roar of fear. All of its fluffy fur that was standing up straight immediately withered. Fear filled its eyes, its body trembled, and it immediately retreated. Within its fearful roar, one could even hear its heart beating rapidly. It was obviously frightened, and it desperately charged toward Wang Lin. Its eyes were filled fear and grievance, especially when it thought about how it had fiercely roared at those terrifying cultivators without its master. When the nether beast thought about this, its heart trembled in fear. Wang Lin closed in on the escaping Taoist water and arrived next to him in a flash. His right hand formed a fist. There was no phantom fist. His fist directly smashed down this time. This punch is for the Lord of the Sealed Realm. Wang Lin's expression was fierce, but his words were calm. When he approached on Taoist water, his punch landed. A miserable scream echoed, and he coughed out a mouthful of Origin Soul essence. His Origin Soul became bleak, and his eyes were filled with despair. "You can kill me. I am a third step cultivator." Before he could finish speaking, Wang Lin closed in and threw another punch. "This punch is for Li Chiamei." Wang Lin's voice was calm to a terrifying degree. Taoist water's legs exploded. Miserable screams echoed once more. Madness appeared in Taoist water's despair, but this madness was nothing to Wang Lin. "I am the slave of the Lord of the Sealed Realm. Accept me as your slave, and your strength will increase greatly. Don't kill me." Wang Lin's expression was indifferent as he stepped forward and threw the third punch. "This punch is for the cultivators of the Cloud Sea, for your attempt to kill the Origin sect," Wang Lin said while grinding his teeth, and his punch landed on Taoist water's chest. Taoist water's Origin Soul trembled and became even more transparent. It was as if his Origin Soul was about to dissipate forever. "This punch is for your Golden Storm," Wang Lin roared angrily as he threw the fourth punch. Taoist water's body was pushed back and his left arm exploded. "This punch is for me, Wang Lin." Wang Lin's right hand rose up. It was as if he was holding the stars and the moons as he smashed down. A thunderous rumble echoed. Wang Lin's right fist penetrated through Taoist water's chest, creating a giant hole. Taoist water's eyes had already turned lax, and he was thrown far away. The intense pain washed over him and allowed him to become sober for a moment. "This punch is for it, not for anything. Just to kill you." Wang Lin couldn't think of anything and charged forward. His right hand formed a fist, and he shot toward Taoist water's remaining Origin Soul. At his final moment of being sober, Taoist water roared his final ace. "I am connected with Mu Bingmei. Killing me is the same as killing her." "She is your woman. Kill me! Kill me!" Taoist water's roar echoed across the world and entered Wang Lin's mind. Wang Lin's killing shot stopped 3 inches away from Taoist water. Taoist water's mind shook as he looked at Wang Lin's fist. His face was extremely ferocious and he smiled madly. "How come you not killing me? Kill me! Come and kill me! Kill me and Mu Bingmei will die!" This old man has long been preparing. That stupid Mu Bingmei didn't know anything. This old man helped her recover her cultivation and gave her a pill so that our souls will be connected. What does that golden bell count as? "She is my real talisman." Taoist water laughed as he waved his remaining right hand. The world distorted and a scene appeared. A large formation appeared inside the distorted scene. A woman was sitting inside, and there were shocking blood marks on her white clothes. Her face was pale. She seemed to notice something, and her eyelashes trembled as she opened her eyes. Her eyes seemed to penetrate the distortion and fall on Wang Lin. She smiled, but this smile was filled with death. I know you have always hated me. I know you have always felt pain in your heart. I know Liu Mei had wronged you. Liu Mei is me, and I am Liu Mei. Over the years, as I weakened, I gradually forgot I was Mu Bingmei. I know I want to become Liu Mei. I know there will be nothing between us. Because of Ping's existence, we can only become the most familiar strangers. I know. I didn't have to take that pill, but I am tired. The destruction of the brilliant void, the destruction of my home. I am the only one left, and I can bear it anymore even if my cultivation recovers. So what if I am the holy saintess? I just want to see my child, but I can Our relationship is ill-fated, a thorn in your heart. You want say it, but I know. I have no complaints about dying by your hand through this method. This is what I owe, not you but Ping. I owe him a lot. I am not a good mother if Ping awakens. I hope you tell him Li Muan is his mother. I am unworthy with my death. The 2,000 years of entanglement between us will be over. You will be free, I will be free. 2 lines of crystal tears flowed down Mu Bingmei's eyes and slowly dripped onto the bloodstains on her clothes. This caused the bloodstains to become blurry. She closed her eyes as she raised her right hand and pressed down between her eyebrows. Taoist Water was startled. At this moment, he seemed to care even more about her life. Wang Lin silently pondered. When he saw Mu Bingmei's right hand pressed down to kill herself, his eyes shined. His fist that had stopped 3 inches away from Taoist Water no longer hesitated and shot forward. At the same time, he raised his left hand and pointed at the distorted image. With one word, Mu Bingmei's body suddenly stopped. Thunderous rumbles echoed, and an unimaginable force rushed into Taoist Water's tattered origin soul. His right hand collapsed, and the force rushed into his head, erasing his soul. A miserable scream echoed. Taoist Water, servant of the Lord of the Sealed Realm, head elder of the God sect, 3rd step cultivator of the Cloud Sea Star system, was dead. The moment he died, a complex chant came from Wang Lin's mouth. Almost no one could understand this chant. Only the disappearing 9-star ancient demon from the ghost sect was shocked when he heard this. Ancient Order Life Transformation Spell? This the Ancient Order Life Transformation Spell. The rumored life transformation spell that the ancestors could only use 3 times in their lives. The Ancient Order Life Transformation Spell was something Wang Lin had acquired from his inheritance. It was useless for Li Muan, but right now it could transfer all of Taoist Water's vitality to Mu Bingmei, who was connected to him. Taoist Water's soul was destroyed, but his vitality essence was left behind. At the last moment, Wang Lin didn't completely destroy him, but kept the vitality essence that was linked to Mu Bingmei. If it was in the past, Wang Lin wouldn't have been able to do this, but right now he could. Mu Bingmei, who was stopped by the stop spell, trembled. Taoist Water's vitality essence entered her body through a strange method and began a bizarre fusion. You don't teo Ping or me. Wang Lin looked profoundly at Mu Bingmei and removed the stop spell. It was at this moment that the nether beast closed in with fear and grievance in its eyes. It anxiously returned to Wang Lin's side, its eyes filled with grievance. It seemed to be complaining about why Wang Lin had suddenly left, making it still feel lingering fear. After returning to Wang Lin's side, the nether beast seemed to regain confidence. It began to roar and all its fur spiked out once more. It revealed a powerful appearance as it stared at the cultivators ahead. It was as if was it going to charge on Wang Lin's command. However, aside from roaring, it maintained a part of its attention on Wang Lin. If Wang Lin retreated, it would retreat without hesitation. It was obvious that what had just happened had taught it a lesson, and this lesson was still fresh in its mind. Its heart would tremble when it thought about how it hadn't noticed Wang Lin leave, and was still roaring. Feeling annoyed and ashamed, its roar became even more violent. Those waves of roar swept away the bloody death of Taoist Water and entered the ears of the silently pondering cultivators. The cultivators of the demon sect greet the Lord of the Sealed Realm. The cultivators of the demon sect pondered for a bit and then bowed with their sect master. The cultivators of the God sect greet the Lord of the Sealed Realm. The people of the God sect had witnessed everything that had happened and clasped their hands with complicated expressions. The Cloud CS Ghost sect greets the Lord of the Sealed Realm. Esteemed Great Void from the Ghost sect clasped his hands. The cultivators of the Cloud Sea greet the Lord of the Sealed Realm. Even more sound came from all directions, and more cultivators paid their respects. Wishing for the like button for the VIDEO, hoping to double the likes on the VIDEO. In the meantime, everyone, throw your spare ones here. Chapter 1516. First battle in the inner realm. The sound was like a wave that spread out across the god sect. It became even louder and louder until it was earth-shattering. Wang Lin looked at the cultivators before him and remained calm. After he returned, he knew that since he had obtained the inheritance of the Lord of the Sealed Realm, he would have to continue its tradition. He felt the glory of the cloud sea from before. He clasped his hands at everyone as he silently pondered. Esteemed Ling Dong and Zhou Jin returned to standing behind Wang Lin. Zhou Jin had a complicated expression, and there was shock in his eyes. He didn't expect Wang Lin to have such a noble status in the inner realm, Lord of the Sealed Realm. Esteemed Ling Dong's thoughts were the most simple. He had been completely refined by Wang Lin, and the seal was ingrained deep within him. He calmly looked ahead. The summoned river star system as Zhou greets the Lord of the Sealed Realm. The old man in black bitterly smiled as he clasped his hands at Wang Lin. The summoned river star system Cloud Edge greets the Lord of the Sealed Realm. What happened earlier was a misunderstanding. I hope the Lord of the Sealed Realm won't mind. The middle-aged man smiled bitterly as he clasped his hands. This old man is Master Hongshan. I had an agreement with the Lord of the Sealed Realm. Now that you have killed that slave and saved the Cloud Sea, you requalified to be this generation's Lord of the Sealed Realm. However, the Outer Realm's invasion is imminent, and it will be difficult to resist with our strength, but we have to fight. You have 2/3 step cultivators with you and your own strength, but it's still not enough. Since you are this generation's Lord of the Sealed Realm, are you ready to battle to the death with me and the entire inner realm? Master Hongshan's eyes were like lightning as he looked at Wang Lin and gave off a pressure comparable to Tao Master Blue Dream's. Wang Lin pondered for a bit and then nodded. The old man from the corpse sect slowly said, "This old man is Master South Cloud. I heard from fellow cultivator Hongshan that you went to the outer realm. How is the strength of the outer realm?" Time slowly passed, and the cultivators of the god sect gradually scattered. The Cloud Sea returned to their intense war preparations. Master Hongshan and Master South Cloud became silent after hearing everything Wang Lin said. There was worry in their eyes. The strength of the outer realm was greater than what they expected. By trapping Great Desolation and 2 of the 5 masters of the ancient star system, you have contributed greatly to this war. If you hadn't, the battle against the outer realm would be even more difficult. Master Hongshan sighed. This nether beast seems a little different from my memory. It has devoured the golden storm, so you should observe it more. That golden bell was obviously sent by the ancient celestial realm for this battle, but it was destroyed by Taoist water. Also, there are the 7 colored realms that Master Lufu mentioned. Since you asked, you can take care of the one in the Alliance headquarters in the brilliant void star system. As for the rest, we will search for them carefully and destroy them, Master South Cloud said with a heavy tone. As for Tailuo, half of your seal can be released. Once the war with the outer realm is finished, the other half can be released. Master Hongshan's gaze fell on the barefoot man. Tailuo frowned. After pondering a bit, he nodded. Wang Lin clasped his hands at everyone and then looked at Mu Bingmei, who was cultivating inside the distortion. He then put away the nether beast, Ling Dong, and Zhou Jin before leaving. As he stepped forward, he didn't stop outside the god sect before he left. However, as he left, his divine sense spread out across the world. The god sect was created by the last Lord of the Sealed Realm. I am this generation of Lord of the Sealed Realm. I order the god sect to listen to Mu Bingmei. I give Mu Bingmei the position of the god sect's sect master. The cultivators of the origin sect will merge into the god sect. As the Lord of the Sealed Realm orders, the cultivators in the god sect replied when they heard this. The dissipated fog gradually reappeared, but it wasn't as dense as before. It couldn't hide the realm-sealing formation that had appeared after the golden storm swept by. This formation was like a net, and it could be seen by every cultivator. Wang Lin appeared among the stars and silently walked forward. Killing Taoist water had settled a big matter in his heart. Right now, he was going to go home. Looking at the direction of his hometown, Wang Lin's face gradually softened. Neither Alheaven nor the Cloud Sea were his home. He only had one home, and that was the brilliant void star system. Senior brother Qing Shui, I didn't have the strength to save you before, but now I have come. Wang Lin stepped forward and charged toward the brilliant void star system. However, just at this moment, a shocking change occurred in the Cloud Sea Star system. Outside the realm sealing formation, a ray of shocking sword energy was rushing toward the star domain that was being occupied by the remaining members of the Moon Clan. Before the sword energy closed in, a thunderous rumble echoed. It was heard by all the members of the Moon Clan branches. When they raised their heads, the sword energy exploded and surrounded the area. An ancient voice echoed across the world. The Sovereign Council summons all of the Moon Clan members to gather at the eastern part of the realm sealing formation for the first battle against the inner realm. All the cultivators in the Moon Clan were shaken. After a moment of silence, a roar echoed across the entire clan. They had waited a very long time for this day. Ancient Star System, Heavenly Soul Clan. At this moment, the same ray of sword energy arrived and that ancient voice echoed. The Sovereign Council summons the Heavenly Soul Clan to gather outside the realm sealing formation for the first battle against the inner realm. The Sovereign Council summons the Tai Cloud Clan for the first battle against the inner realm. The Sovereign Council summons the remnants of the Fire Sparrow Clan to gather at the eastern part of the realm sealing formation for the first battle against the inner realm. The Sovereign Council summons Demon Dragon Clan to gather at the eastern part of the realm sealing formation for the first battle against the inner realm. More than 10 ancient star system clans obtained the summon of the Sovereign Council at the same time, and they all moved out. This old man, the Sovereign Council's Master Enlightened East, will oversee the first battle against the inner realm. This old man, esteemed Nanzhao, will oversee the battle with Master Enlightened East. The Sovereign Council's Grandmaster Yun Luo will be the strategist of this battle. The last line echoed across the entire ancient star system and fell into the ears of every cultivator in the ancient star system. This caused the entire ancient star system to be filled with battle intent. Slaughter your way into the inner realm and kill all living things inside. Let those ants in the inner realm know the might of the ancient star system. Let those ant-like cultivators know the true might of the ancient star system. The ant-like cultivators in the inner realm are extremely cruel and are without salvation. We must use slaughter to enlighten them of the truth. Slaughter your way into the inner realm. Slaughter all the ant-like cultivators. Steal all treasures. Only winning matters. In this battle, anything you take belongs to you. Reopen the ancient star system ranking. The top 1,000 can receive the fortune of the ancient celestial realm. The top 100 can become the disciples of the celestial concubines. The top 10 can each control a realm. The top 3, if they are third-step cultivators, will be given 10 rank 3 Tao spirits each. If they are not third-step cultivators, they will become disciples of the sovereign. In accordance to the ancient agreement, the rank person can become a cultivation couple with the celestial princess, and will be named the celestial sovereign. These messages echoed across the ancient star system, stimulating the cruel battle intent of the ancient star system. Low roars echoed within each clan, shaking the entire ancient star system. For the scattered ancient star system that contained countless clans, the only reason to battle was to rob. Rob anything they like, rob anything they think they need, rob any female cultivators they fancy as cultivation furnaces. Rob, rob, rob. There is a person among the ant-like cultivators of the inner realm named Wang Lin. He slaughtered the scattered Thunder Clan, destroyed a branch of the Moon Clan, and killed countless cultivators of the outer realm. When the ancient star system ranking opens, the must-kill list of the inner realm will also open. Whoever kills him will receive credit for killing 10,000 cultivators. Kill, 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 kill. As the roars for war echoed across the outer realm, the 13 clans summoned for the first battle gathered on the eastern side of the realm sealing formation. There were nearly 90,000 cultivators present, and at a glance it was impossible to see any end. They all revealed cruel smiles as they stared at the formation before them. They were going to charge in the moment it opened. There was a mark between each person's eyebrows. Within this cruel killing intent, a strange aura began to appear. These 900,000 cultivators' blood began to boil, and they gradually became agitated and crazy. They were like fierce beasts that had been starving for a long time and were going to devour everything. There were 4 people floating in the distance. The person in front was an old man wearing a Taoist robe. His eyes shined, and the mark between his eyebrows was a black snake. Master Enlightened East. Although he wasn't one of the 5 masters, his was at the early stage of arcane void. Beside him stood a young man. This young man was very handsome, but his eyes were narrow. When he squinted, they became lines that gave off a cold glint. There was a layer of mist around his body, making him look strange. The mark between his eyebrows was a rotating black mist. Esteemed Nanjiao. Although his cultivation level wasn't as high as Great Desolation S, only early stage spirit void, his poison was as famous as Great Desolation S. Beside the 2 of them was the gloomy ancestor of the Fire Sparrow clan. He stared at the formation before him, revealing crazed, killing intent. Before the 3 of them was a woman wearing cloud silk. Her head was lowered. It was Grandmaster Yun Luo. Her hands were quickly moving as if she was divinating something, and there was a flash of worry in her eyes. I have to thank Grandmaster Yun Luo for figuring out that the 3rd step cultivators of the inner realm have found out about the 7 colored realms the sovereigns set up. However, how could the ants of the inner realm have figured out the real plan the sovereign had set? Master Enlightened East smiled. Grandmaster Yun Luo raised her beautiful hand and slowly said, "The purpose of this battle is not to kill but to set down that transfer array. Keep that in mind. In addition to that, Wang Lin must be killed as soon as possible. He can be allowed to survive." Wishing for the like button for the VIDEO. Thinking nonsense. Wishing for the like button for the VIDEO. Chapter 1517. Breaking the formation. Master Enlightened East smiled, but he dismissed this idea in his heart. He looked at the 90,000 cultivator army and felt the fierce and crazed killing intent. He couldn't help but reveal a cruel expression. No need for mercy. These wolves' killing intent is already monstrous. How can I not let them kill? As for that little cultivator Wang Lin, at most he is only at the Heaven S blight stage. He has only gotten a bit lucky to achieve what he did. Killing him will be too easy. There's no need to make a fuss. This first battle S primary purpose is to kill and steal. The second is to place the transfer array. The final matter is to kill that little cultivator Wang Lin on the way. Just as Master Enlightened East thought of this, he suddenly looked into the distance. At the same time, Master Nanjiao, the Fire Sparrow clan ancestor, and Grandmaster Yun Luo all looked into the distance. A powerful pressure spread out from the rumbling sound and completely suppressed the raging roars of these 90,000 cultivators. This sound was overwhelming, and it soon attracted the gazes of all 90,000 cultivators. A giant black palace suddenly appeared. It was too big, the size of a cultivation planet. It was surrounded by endless fog, making it blurry. One could only vaguely see thousands of cultivators in black floating around the palace. They all had the same mark between their brows, a black sword. Every cultivator in black gave off an extremely cold aura. They had indifferent expressions as they floated forward outside the Black Palace. A howl of killing intent shrouded the star domain. It's the Sword Clan. The guards of the Sovereign Council S Heaven Punishment Palace are the Sword Clan. Rumor has it that every cultivator of the Sword Clan has terrifying power. They also cultivate the soul-piercing strike, which has amazing power. The Sword Clan has appeared. This must be the Sovereign Council S Heaven Punishment Palace. I didn't expect the Sovereign to move one of the 4 palaces for the first battle. The large black palace slowly closed in, and the pressure from it slowly spread out. The 90,000 cultivators all bowed toward the palace. We all greet the Heaven Punishment Palace. The 90,000 cultivators' voices were like a wave. Outside the realm ceiling formation, the giant palace slowly stopped. The thousands of cultivators in black coldly stared ahead. Under the order of the Sovereign Council, this old man came to oversee the battle. An ancient voice came from the Black Palace. This voice released a pressure that immediately suppressed the voices of the 90,000 cultivators. Now this old man will open the realm ceiling formation, and this war will begin. As the voice came out, there seemed to be a sigh. Shortly after, a ray of light flashed out from the Black Palace. This was a sword made of crystal light. The sword was 7 feet long and 3 inches wide, and its blade was crystal clear. At a glance, it was dazzling and contained endless Joss flames. It caused the space around it to distort. One could clearly see many Joss flame realms inside this distortion, with countless Joss flame souls living inside. They sat there and offered their Joss flames. In the ancient star system, there was a world that shouldn't exist within a spatial rift that had been created. This place was filled with celestial spiritual energy. There was a celestial mountain here, and the mountain's peak was hidden among the clouds. There was a woman standing on this peak. This woman looked middle-aged. She wasn't an absolute beauty, but gave off an air of grace and elegance. She was wearing a palace dress, and there was a bright red oval blood mark between her eyebrows. Looking at the sky, there was a flash of coldness in her eyes. She raised her jade-like hand and pointed at the sky, causing a jade scepter to appear. There were flowers on the scepter. These flowers were originally dead, but when the woman pointed at them, they seemed to gain life and began to bloom. When the flowers bloomed, 9 petals fell off, forming a vortex that disappeared without a trace. Since you haven't decided, I'll give you hand, the woman whispered as she removed a golden hairpin with her left hand and threw it forward. Waves of zither music were coming from the top of Mount Blue in the Blue Silk clan. Although this music was beautiful, it was very strange. Sometimes it was as if it was ready to ambush and kill, but at other times it was gentle. These two extremes fused together to form a very complicated emotion. Tao Master Blue Dream closed his eyes as his hands moved over the zither. He seemed to be hesitating, as if he was making a choice. Li Qianmei was calmly sitting opposite of her father. She was silently looking at her father and hadn't said a word. Just at this moment, ripples echoed above Mount Blue, and there was a flash of golden light. It was a hairpin a woman would place on her hair. The hairpin broke through void and headed straight for Mount Blue. It penetrated the roof of the house and mercilessly stabbed into the ground between Li Qianmei and Tao Master Blue Dream. The zither music suddenly stopped. One of the strings suddenly broke and flew up high into the air. Tao Master Blue Dream opened his eyes and looked at the hairpin before him. There was a painful struggle in his eyes. After a long time, he let out a sigh and waved his right hand. The broken string broke off from the zither and was surrounded by a blue light. Taoist Master Blue Dream bit his tongue and spat out some blood. The blood fused with the string and flew off into the distance. Outside the realm ceiling formation, the world beside the Black Palace rumbled. 9 petals appeared next to the crystal sword, forming a monstrous storm. At the same time, blue light flashed violently and a broken string appeared. This string contained Tao Master Blue Dream's blood, his cultivation, and was connected to his mind, so it contained powerful Joss flames. In the extreme western part of the ancient star system, the world here was slightly white. Any cultivator who came here would feel coldness in their mind. Even if they activated their cultivation, they would be frozen. In the distance, there were 9 cultivation planets. From a distance, they looked like 9 large pieces of ice, or to be more accurate, 1 piece, a giant piece of ice, and 9 frozen cultivation planets. There was a child about 7 or 8 years old sealed inside this vast ice. At this moment, this boy filled with death energy opened his eyes. His eyes were extremely strange. There were 3 pupils inside each eye. 3-pupil cultivator. The moment he opened his eyes, thunderous rumbles echoed across the ice around the 9 planets. Then a giant phantom eye appeared inside this ice. This eye was the same as the boy's. It also had 3 pupils. At this moment, the 3 pupils flew out into the stars. In the ancient star system, there was another spatial rift filled with celestial spiritual energy. There was a continent floating there. This continent gave off an ancient aura, and no one knew where it came from. There was a woman sitting on the continent. She was wearing a red dress and even her hair was red. She looked very bright. Although she was sitting there, her red dress wasn't loose, but very close-fitting. Looking from behind, she had an amazing waist. Combined with her hips and the curves of her upper body, it was enough to cause any cultivator's heart to pound. Her face was very beautiful and very white. Her eyelashes trembled and she slowly opened her eyes. There was a hint of natural sadness in them, and she slowly raised her jade-like hand to bite it. This image was enough to make anyone go crazy. There seemed to be a sigh, and then she broke her finger. She waved her hand, and 3 drops of blood flew out, turning into 3 large hideous ghosts. These ghosts looked terrifying, and they let out roars that echoed across the sky as they flew into the air. A moment later, the 3 ghosts bowed at the woman in red and then disappeared. Outside the realm's ceiling formation, there was a flash of ghostly light beside the crystal sword, string, and 9 petals. And Phantom Eye suddenly appeared here. This eye had 3 pupils, making for a shocking sight. Just as the eye with 3 pupils appeared, a roar echoed. The 3 giant ghosts tore open space itself and appeared. The various treasures formed by the powerful cultivators of the outer realm gathered. In the ancient star system, in that floating palace that belonged to the sovereign, the person in the black robe that was forced back again by that roar looked up. He raised his withered hand and fiercely reached forward. "Fishing for the moon in the well," the man in black said with a hoarse and weak voice that echoed inside the palace. The realm ceiling formation began to tremble before the 90,000 cultivators and became blurry. It was as if there was a powerful force that wanted to extract the soul of the realm ceiling formation. As the formation trembled, there were flashes of light, and various formation spirits appeared. And those blood treasures gave off a shocking aura. It was the trembling from the realm ceiling formation that attracted Wang Lin's attention. His pupils shrank and he looked over. There was such a thing as coincidence in this world. If there was no realm ceiling formation, those 90,000 cultivators would have clearly seen the white-haired Wang Lin looking at them from the other side of the formation. Wishing for the like button for the VIDEO, hoping to charge through the trending charts for the VIDEO this month. Chapter 1518. Can T retreat? The location of the first battle against the inner realm was the Cloud Sea Star system. The location they were going to break through was exactly where Wang Lin was passing by. The trembling of the realm ceiling formation transferred into the inner realm. Wang Lin clearly saw the net that was the formation became chaotic, as if a power was trying to pierce through. Seeing this, Wang Lin's expression changed greatly. At this moment, the inner realm wasn't ready for battle, and the 7 colored realms had not been found. But the war was here. Wang Lin could immediately tell that the strange change to the formation was the outer realm using various methods to tear open the formation. The realm's ceiling formation was a double-edged sword. It sealed the Joss flames from the inner realm, so that the inner realm cultivators couldn't compare with the cultivators of the outer realm at all. It was equal to cutting off their roots. However, it directly created a protective role. It was very difficult to enter or exit. Just at this moment, the realm ceiling formation trembled violently as if the formation spirits were about to be extracted. This was even more clear from the outer realm. However, Wang Lin didn't have time to waste. There was no need for him to notify the others, as the other third-step cultivators must have noticed this. However, he was the closest person here, and while he couldn't stop them from breaking the formation, he had to prepare for the worst. There was a flash of killing intent in his eyes. The killing intent he showed when he killed Taoist Water had dissipated a bit, but it surged once more here. His slaughter essence increased rapidly. Kill anyone who invades. This was a war, and there was no morality in this war. He could leave right now, but he couldn't. This was an invasion. The invasion of his homeland. For his home, for his homeland, for the glory of the cultivators of the inner realm. Wang Lin's eyes were bloodshot. He had killed throughout his life for himself, and only outside the God sect did he finally feel the glory of being an inner realm cultivator. This war would last for an unknown amount of time. Perhaps he would die, perhaps he would lose the chance to revive Wan but right now he wasn't fighting for himself, but for his home. For the sake of the greater good, he had to fight. This was why Master Hong Shen had asked him if he was ready to battle to the death. This was war. Wang Lin was prepared to die in battle. Although this was sudden, he was from the inner realm. Even though the inner realm was filled with danger and schemes against him, he was still a cultivator of the inner realm. In his own home, it was survival of the fittest. But what did it all count as when facing an invasion? This was for the greater good. The fire of war was already at the door, and if he still thought only of his own gains and losses in this matter, then he didn't deserve to be called a person, to be called a cultivator. His slaughter essence increased like crazy as various moods flashed through Wang Lin's mind. Just killing wasn't enough. That wasn't slaughter but mere butchering. Real slaughter was killing with a reason. To resist like crazy for a certain ideal, or for people and things you want to protect. This kind of slaughter was the source of this essence. It was not for one's own lust to rob others or to kill for the sake of killing. At this moment, Wang Lin gained enlightenment. He waved his right hand and 10 million rays of sword energy appeared and flew toward the formation. Esteemed Ling Dong and Zhou Jin also appeared. It didn't matter if they were willing or not, they had to listen to Wang Lin. Even if they died, their souls had to listen to this order. After the two appeared, Wang Lin's right hand formed a seal and pointed above. Countless restrictions flew out and began to seal the area. At the same time, Wang Lin waved his hand, and the blood sword appeared with a monstrous bloodlight. Under this bloodlight, Wang Lin waved his arm and his body was surrounded by a white light. He absorbed all the light too from the light and shadow shield. The nine-colored fire in his left eye formed a storm that was ready to erupt. The thunder tattoo in his right eye started rotating rapidly and thunderous rumbles echoed. Fight, fight, fight. Since he had encountered them, he would battle the 100,000 invading cultivators from the outer realm. Wang Lin stood there like a battle god. His flowing white hair and his fluttering white robe made his figure look infinitely large. A sense of glory slowly spread from his body, the glory of being an inner realm cultivator. The realm's ceiling formation seemed to turn into a giant well in the eyes of the outer realm cultivators. A force was coming from the ancient star system, and it wanted to fish out the souls inside this well. As the thunderous rumbles echoed, the formation trembled violently, and the formation spirits all appeared, ready to launch a counterattack. However, at this moment, an ancient voice came from the giant black palace. Break the formation. After this voice appeared, the world trembled. The crystal sword shot out with a shocking howl and the surrounding treasures all charged out with it. It wasn't just one person trying to break this formation but the full force of 6 people. 2 celestial imperial concubines, 3 third-step powerhouses, and the sovereign. The moment Formation's soul was about to be pulled out by the sovereign, and the formation spirits appeared to attack, these 5 treasures rushed in. They launched a frenzied attack on the formation spirits. Lightning like silvers appeared all over the formation, turning the entire formation into a lightning formation. The endless silver snakes gathered to form a lance filled with endless lightning power that shot toward the crystal sword. The resulting thunderous rumbles were heaven-shaking. When the crystal sword collided with the lance, endless Joss flame power rushed out to resist the lance. As the sword and lance fought, there was a flash of purple. The monstrous purple light filled the stars. Both the inner and outer realms could clearly see it. Within this purple light, a giant whip formed. When it lashed out, popping sounds echoed, and it shot toward Tao Master Blue Dream's zither string. The two closed in and began to collide violently. After the purple light, there was a red light that spread out like fresh blood. Waves of miserable roars filled with indescribable pain spread out as well. A 9-headed meteor hammer suddenly appeared. As the 9 heads shook, the hammer seemed like it was going to shatter space itself, and it shot toward the 9 petals. Just as the red light appeared, a monstrous heat wave washed over the formation. A large chariot formed, and an extremely hot aura spread out. This was a giant catapult. The moment it appeared, it gave off an earth-shattering aura. There was a monstrous flame on its arm that was hot enough to burn anything, and it suddenly launched it forward. It shot toward the 3 pupil eye made of ice. Behind the chariot, there was a flash of darkness that seemed to devour all light. A giant staff silently appeared. This staff was covered in thorns, and was stained with large amount of black blood. It gave off a fierce aura, and shot toward the 3 ghosts formed by the Imperial Celestial Concubine's 3 drops of blood essence. Thunderous rumbles echoed. The entire realm's ceiling formation rumbled violently. Wang Lin's pupils shrank, but his expression was fierce. The war had begun. The realm's ceiling formation trembled as the formation spirits appeared one by one, and soon the rest all appeared. However, just as they appeared, the mysterious power coming from the ancient star system formed a hand and pulled up. The realm ceiling formation trembled, and the soul that was born in the formation over tens of thousands of years was pulled out. This soul was invisible, but the cultivators outside could feel its ancient aura. The soul was extremely large. As it was pulled out, it seemed like this mysterious power couldn't withstand it. It only lifted it a few feet before it weakened. A sigh echoed across the ancient star system. The mysterious force suddenly tore to the side. A thunderous rumble echoed, and a gap was ripped open in the soul. The moment this gap appeared, a crack appeared on the realm ceiling formation. The appearance of this crack seemed to cause the realm ceiling formation to stop. The moment it stopped, an ancient and hoarse voice echoed across the stars. This old man has done his best. After he spoke, the 5 treasures fighting the 5 formation spirits trembled at the same time. In the spatial crack filled with celestial spiritual energy in the ancient star system, there was a flash of coldness in the middle-aged woman's eyes as she stood on top of the mountain. Her hands formed a seal and she softly said, "Explode!" In the Blue Silk Clan, on top of Mount Blue, Tao Master Blue Dream looked at the hairpin in a daze. He raised his right hand, formed a seal, and he helplessly said, "Explode!" In the extreme west part of the ancient star system, on the 9 frozen planets, the boy raised his right hand and muttered, "Explode!" In a spatial crack filled with celestial spiritual energy, a woman in red was sitting on a continent. Her eyes shined and she revealed a smile that wasn't a smile as she softly said, "Explode!" Outside the realm ceiling formation inside the Heaven Punishment Palace, a roar echoed out. Explode! There were 5 treasures, and each of these treasures alone could cause a catastrophe. At this moment, they all exploded inside the realm ceiling formation. The destructive force entered the crack and began to tear it open, causing both the inner and outer realms to tremble. A large gap was opened in the realm ceiling formation for a brief period of time. The war had begun. The video schedule for first is up, and I ask all friends not to be stingy. Remember to share Leo. If you're capable, friends, please be prepared to support Leo with a like. Chapter 1519, Counterattack. The moment this gap was open, the 90,000 cultivators revealed murderous gazes and roared like crazy. Slaughter your way into the inner realm. Let the ants of the inner realm tremble and bow to us. Slaughter your way into the sealed realm and rob everything. Master Enlightened East revealed a cruel gaze and stepped toward the gap in the formation. Esteemed Nanjiao licked his lips and stepped forward. There was also the ancestor of the Fire Sparrow clan. Killing intent flashed in his eyes as he rushed forward. The 90,000 cultivators charged toward the gap in the formation like crazy. It was very difficult to describe this scene. The outer realm cultivators were like a flood, and the realm ceiling formation was like a dam. Now the dam had a hole, and the flood was rushing through. Killing intent filled the stars. In a flash, tens of thousands of cultivators stepped into the gap and entered the inner realm that made them mad. They saw the inner realm. They saw Wang Lin, who was coldly staring at them. Wang Lin's expression remained neutral, and he didn't immediately act. The collapse of the realm ceiling formation made him feel like something was wrong. As if something was being hidden, he didn't move and only stared coldly at these locust-like outer realm cultivators. He was waiting to confirm his speculation. Just at this moment, a shocking change occurred. A jade appeared on the realm ceiling formation that had been ripped open. This jade gave off an aura that Wang Lin was very familiar with, and it could only belong to one person, the Lord of the Sealed Realm. The moment the jade appeared, a heaven-splitting axe appeared. The axe appeared very suddenly, exactly when half of the 90,000 cultivators had rushed in. The moment the axe appeared, it mercilessly slashed down on the outer realm cultivators. A violent rumble spread like crazy. As the axe slashed down, all the cultivators in its path screamed miserably. They couldn't dodge at all, and when the axe touched them, their bodies exploded and their origin souls were extinguished. No cultivator could resist for even a moment as the axe pierced through them. Only their miserable cries lingered. Generate now! The axe swept down, and about 5,000 cultivators died. Seeing the axe rising and preparing to slash down again, the expressions of Master Enlightened East, the Fire Sparrow clan ancestor, and esteemed Nanjiao changed greatly, and they all rushed toward the axe without hesitation. Rush into the inner realm faster, rush in at full force. We will block this heaven-splitting axe while all of you rush in. The giant black palace outside the formation suddenly opened and a thin old man walked out. His body was like a skeleton, and he took a step forward. He instantly closed in and was about to stop the heaven-splitting axe. However, at this moment, the jade gave off a flash, and a gentle light surrounded his old man. The old man's expression changed. He had already noticed that the aura of the jade felt familiar. Now that it was upon him, his mind trembled. Lord of the Sealed Realm, you old ghost, you have actually fused yourself with the formation. Just as all of this happened, killing intent appeared in Wang Lin's eyes. He had waited to confirm his speculation. Perhaps back then, the Lord of the Sealed Realm was waiting for this moment. He no longer hesitated and stepped forward. As the red-eyed cultivators charged forward, Wang Lin waved his hand and 10 million rays of sword energy shot out. Behind the 10 million rays of sword energy were countless restrictions. He began a battle of one against tens of thousands. Esteemed Ling Dong and Zhou Jin had to attack under Wang Lin's command. They shot toward Master Enlightened East and Company, who were attempting to stop the heaven-splitting axe. Wang Lin stepped forward, and the 9-colored firestorm in his left eye flew out. Ethereal fire spread out. The emotions of the outer realm cultivators raged in his fire. These were all emotions that could ignite ethereal fire. Ethereal fire burn! As Wang Lin said this, the thunder tattoo in his right eye flashed and thunder rumbled. The thunder tattoo flew out and expanded endlessly among the stars. The 9 accompanying thunders released endless lightning bolts that descended upon the outer realm cultivators. Kill, 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 kill. Miserable screams echoed across the cloud sea. Out of the tens of thousands of cultivators, nearly 1,000 of them were turned into balls of fire by the ethereal fire. They screamed miserably and were about to retreat. However, just at this moment, there was a flash of bloodlight and the blood sword appeared from where it was hiding. 1,000 burning heads were cut off, and even their blood disappeared under the burning ethereal fire. One move to kill 1,000 people. Wang Lin was a fierce tiger guarding his home, and he charged out. The thunder tattoo was above him, and lightning descended like divine retribution at the cultivators below. Miserable screams echoed. However, this kind of slaughter wasn't enough to force these tens of thousands of cultivators from the outer realm to retreat. Instead, it made them even more ferocious. At this moment, these crazed, burning cultivators knew that they would die, so they chose to self-destruct. Thunderous rumbles echoed. As they exploded, a destructive force spread out. If Wang Lin didn't have the body of an ancient god, he would have been forced to retreat amidst this messy battle. He is Wang Lin. Kill him and you can enter the ancient star system ranking. Kill him! He is only one person, yet he dares to block the army of our outer realm. Die, 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 die. The tens of thousands of cultivators charged forward with crazed, bloodshot eyes. Wang Lin slaughtered his way into them. Everyone around him was an enemy, and endless treasures bombarded his body. The light and shadow shield lasted for only a moment before it collapsed. However, his ancient god body was very strong. Although the light and shadow shield had collapsed, he wasn't afraid at all. His fingers moved forward and pointed at a cultivator. He exploded and died. Kill, kill, kill. Wang Lin's eyes were bloodshot from the slaughter. The nearby cultivators all began to burn. Although they had exploded, but their ethereal fire flew out and circled Wang Lin. Amidst this slaughter, Wang Lin had forgotten how many people he had killed. Many injuries appeared on his body, but these injuries were rapidly healing. The heaven-splitting axe suddenly landed. Nearly 5,000 cultivators were shredded and died miserably. Ling Dong, Zhou Jin, the two of you dare to stop us. You two are cultivators of the outer realm. Could it be you two wannabe traitors? Master Enlightened East waved his sleeves and unexpectedly fended off both Ling Dong and Zhou Jin. Not only that, he also had enough power to spare to try to stop the heaven-splitting axe from falling again. Zhou Jin silently pondered and revealed a complicated expression, but he still attacked without hesitation. Ling Dong was numb. The other party's words weren't able to cause any hint of fluctuation in his mind. Grandmaster Yun Lu had stepped into the formation. When she saw Wang Lin, fear filled her eyes. She raised her jade-like hand and screamed, "Kill Wang Lin!" The Fire Sparrow clan ancestor suddenly turned around with a fierce expression. He actually ignored the heaven-splitting axe and shot toward Wang Lin. There was also a steam Nanjiao. His eyes lit up as he grinned and charged at Wang Lin with the Fire Sparrow clan ancestor. At the same time, the thin man that was trapped by the jade from the Lord of the Sealed Realm spread out his divine sense and began a frenzied attack. Thunderous rumbles echoed and no victor could be decided for a short period of time. This war had reached its peak at the start. Due to the presence of the Lord of the Sealed Realm, the balance was tilted toward the inner realm. However, this war showed no signs of ending. In the ancient star system, more than 10 clans had already finished preparing long ago. At this moment, the command was given, and they were teleported through a transfer array to the gap in the realm ceiling formation. There were 80,000 people among these 10 tribes, and there were 2 third-step cultivators among them. The two of them charged at the opening. The ancestor of the fire sparrow and esteemed Nanzhao closed in. If it was just 2 people at the cultivation level of the fire sparrow clan ancestor, Wang Lin could delay them. However, esteemed Nanzhao was at the spirit void stage. Just him alone was enough to kill Wang Lin. Not to mention he had poison spells as famous as Great Desolation. The fire sparrow clan ancestor was filled with killing intent, and he waved his right hand. The fire sparrow mark between his eyebrows flashed, and a giant black firebird rushed out. It contained a hint of ethereal fire as it charged forward. This firebird contained endless joss flames and emitted an extremely hot aura. Even space itself seemed to be baked by it. The bird instantly closed in on Wang Lin. Esteemed Nanzhao's eyes lit up. He didn't use any spells, he just lifted his right hand. His pale hand instantly became black. It was filled with an unimaginable poison. He revealed a cruel smile as he stepped forward and crossed a large distance. He charged through the firebird and smashed his right hand down toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin suddenly turned around. His pupils shrank and he quickly retreated while raising his right hand. Just at this moment, in the cloud sea in the distance, the world distorted. Master Hongshan and Master South Cloud walked out. They released killing intent and quickly closed in. Faint roars came from the stars behind them. Glory to the cloud sea! Glory to the cloud sea! Tens of thousands of cultivators rushed forward. The VIDEO has reached first place in the ranking but still can't maintain the top position. Urgently wishing for all friends to push a round of VIDEO, Leo is extremely grateful. Chapter 1520. Spirit Soul! The cultivators of the Cloud Sea arrived. Tens of thousands of cultivators, countless rays of red light. Mortals couldn't see this. Only the cultivators that were participating in this battle could, and it was an unforgettable scene. Some mortals might be lucky to see a meteor shower in their 100 years of life. However, at this moment, the cultivators of the Cloud Sea were 100 times more spectacular than a meteor storm as they rushed over. It was impossible to see the face of each cultivator, but one could feel their determination to die and their will to protect the Cloud Sea. At this moment, the unbreakable heavenly mountain was before them, and it would have to retreat and tremble. Glory to the Cloud Sea. At this moment, these 5 words became alive. This became an aura of the Cloud Sea. It was tragic but blood-boiling. No one could remain unaffected by this aura, even if they were evil and vile, if there was a trace of sentiment toward their hometown. This sentiment would be amplified indefinitely and their blood would boil. Master Hongshan arrived in his red robe, his expression solemn. Although the golden storm from Taoist water had been devoured by the nether beast, preventing the realm sealing formation from being destroyed. His mentality had changed at that moment. The war had already begun in his mind, and he had been prepared to fight to the death ever since. Although the battle against the outer realm had suddenly begun, Master Hongshan wasn't scared at all. He walked forward with a smile. There was an unspeakable haughtiness and majesty in his laughter. It contained the fearless aura of a third-step cultivator. There was also Master South Cloud. This person was very mysterious, and Wang Lin didn't know much about him. However, at this moment, his eyes were cold, and he quickly arrived with Master Hongshan. All of this happened in an instant. The moment the Cloud Sea cultivators arrived, Wang Lin was facing a great crisis. This danger didn't come from the Fire Sparrow clan ancestor, but from esteemed Nanzhao who was at the Spirit Void stage. The gaps between the 4 void realms were great. Not only could a Spirit Void cultivator use more Joss Flames, they could use the Joss Flames to form their own spirit. In truth, the power of Joss Flames was also called Nirvana power in the first Void realm. Nirvana power, the power of Nirvana, was endless and thus formed endless Joss Flames. Nirvana Void cultivator controlled the Nirvana power inside Joss Flames to use various heaven-shaking spells. Spirit Void. This stage was an evolution of the soul. Anyone who reached the Spirit Void stage would undergo a change where their soul would fuse with their origin soul. Their origin soul could no longer be called an origin soul. It would become a spirit soul. Similarly, the Joss Flame realm would fuse with their soul, becoming one with them. Of course, there were some cultivators, like Miao Yin, that didn't do this due to special reasons. This was why Wang Lin in Great Desolation had the great fortune of robbing a portion of his Joss Flames. As a result, in the bodies of Spirit Void cultivators, the Nirvana power would transform into a spiritual force. This spiritual force was very different from the spiritual energy of first-step cultivators. It involved converting the Joss flames into nirvana power, then fusing it with their will, and finally changing their origin soul into their own world. The Joss flame souls would become the residents of this world, and they would give birth to this spiritual force. That is to say, each spirit void cultivator was like a world. They were each their own separate worlds. A blow from a spirit void cultivator, even one at the early stage, was not something a nirvana void cultivator could handle. Although esteemed Nanjiao's blow seemed simple, it contained his spiritual force. One palm was like a world smashing down on you. At this moment, esteemed Nanjiao seemed to disappear from Wang Lin's eyes. Everything, including the formation and all the cultivators, seemed to disappear without a trace. It was as if he had been forcibly pulled into an illusion, into a world he had never seen before. Space itself was gone, and there wasn't a trace of anything. The sky here was black, and the earth was also black. A stench filled this area, and he saw endless people in black sitting on the earth. At a glance, these people were endless. 100,000, 1 million, 10 million, 100 million, 1 billion, 10 billion. This world was boundless, and the amount of people in black was shocking. These were esteemed Nanjiao's Joss Flame souls, and this place was esteemed Nanjiao's Joss Flame realm. The attack of a spirit void cultivator could take their target into their Joss Flame realm. The Joss Flame realm was fused with the spirit void cultivator's soul, and this was where Joss Flames were created. Wang Lin was shocked. After all, he didn't know much about third-step cultivators, especially the spirit void stage. Not even Ling Dong or Zhou Jin knew much about this. Unless one personally experienced it, no one could explain it. Wang Lin even felt a hint of contempt for spirit void cultivators in his heart. After all, in the outer realm, he had met Tao Master Blue Dream and battled the Sovereign. He had even worked together with great desolation. However, at this moment, that hint of contempt disappeared without a trace. Wang Lin understood. He was now inside esteemed Nanjiao's Joss Flame realm. The world rumbled and a giant palm appeared in the sky. This palm was also black and gave off a stench. As the sky rumbled, the entire sky became the palm and smashed down on Wang Lin. The earth trembled and buzzing sounds echoed. The countless people in black muttered toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin didn't know what they were saying, but this sound caused a hint of irritation in his heart. Saying this was all an illusion was both right and wrong. What was right was that the cultivators from the outer realm still existed and were rushing in. The cultivators of the Cloud Sea were also rushing over. Wang Lin's body didn't disappear. He was still floating there. However, the sharpness in his eyes was replaced with a void. Before him, the black firebird was closing in along with esteemed Nanjiao's palm. The palm became larger and larger in Wang Lin's hollow pupils until it was about to replace everything in his eyes and charge to the spot between his eyebrows. What was wrong was that everything felt too real to Wang Lin. In esteemed Nanjiao's Joss Flame realm, he saw the palm that filled the whole sky descending upon him. All of this happened in an instant. It was impossible to dodge or avoid. The endless buzzing from the people in black caused Wang Lin to become restless. He also had the urge to sit down and chant with them. This impulse became stronger and stronger and instantly reached a peak. This caused Wang Lin's eyes to become bloodshot and the veins on his face to swell. At this moment, the palm was getting closer and closer, pushing a powerful pressure down on Wang Lin's body. It caused his white hair to flutter backward. Not it was less than 10,000 feet away. I am an ancient god, I am Tao. Wang Lin's head jerked up and he waved his right hand. The ancient god gauntlet appeared. At this moment of crisis, Wang Lin chose to use this life-saving spell without hesitation. As the thunderous rumbles echoed, a giant ancient god appeared before Wang Lin and used its back to block the palm that was like the sky collapsing. The sky collapsed and the palm descended. The black palm landed on the ancient god's back. A thunderous rumble echoed like crazy when the black palm landed on the ancient goddess' back. The back collapsed, but no flesh or blood scattered. The ancient goddess' back continued to sink as if not even it could withstand it. How can I worship someone like you? Wang Lin roared with a fierce expression on his face. The ancient god holding him suddenly turned around and threw a punch. Another thunderous rumble echoed when the ancient god's fist collided with the black palm. A powerful shockwave spread, and the black palm was knocked back 100,000 feet. The ancient god seemed to let out a sigh and gradually dissipated. It turned back into a gauntlet on Wang Lin's right arm. There was a cracking sound and several more cracks appeared on the gauntlet. When the ancient god punch knocked the dark palm away, Wang Lin charged forward. He formed a fist and threw a punch as well. The phantom head appeared and fused with this punch. Break for me. Wang Lin's body seemed to fuse with this punch. There was a flash of lightning and burning fire as he shot forward like a meteor. He collided with the dark palm once more. Thunderous rumbles echoed, and the black palm trembled. Wang Lin's body pierced through the center of the palm. Wang Lin's hollow eyes instantly recovered as if he had awakened. In truth, it had only been an instant. After he recovered, his face turned pale and he coughed out blood as he quickly retreated. Esteemed Nanzhao's right hand trembled when it was less than 30 feet from Wang Lin. At this moment, blood came out of the center of his palm as if he had been hurt by something invisible. His eyes were filled with shock and his body was hit by a powerful force. He could no longer chase, and retreated a few steps away from the black firebird. What a powerful body! Esteemed Nanzhao's expression was gloomy. He understood why this Wang Lin was ranked first in the must-kill list. He hasn't even reached the third step, yet he could escape and fight back against my palm. If he reaches the third step, he will be extremely terrifying. This child can be allowed to survive. Urgently wishing for all friends to push a round of VIDEO, Leo is extremely grateful. Chapter 1521. This shirt is not a shirt. Spirit void. Spirit void. Wang Lin retreated with a pale face. Although everything looked ordinary, it was extremely scary. Wang Lin felt the terror of a spirit void cultivator for the first time. There were far fewer spirit void cultivators than nirvana void cultivators, and their status was a lot higher. While retreating, Wang Lin coughed out several more mouthfuls of blood. He collided with an old man from the outer realm. Before the old man could even scream, a powerful force rushed into his body and his body collapsed. However, before his flesh and blood could scatter, it was condensed into a wisp of vitality that was absorbed by Wang Lin. Even his origin soul wasn't able to escape and was absorbed by Wang Lin. All of this happened in an instant. Wang Lin didn't stop retreating. He immediately charged into the outer realm cultivators. Thunderous rumbles echoed as Wang Lin retreated in a straight line through these outer realm cultivators. Anyone who was touched by him quickly died. There was a flash of killing intent in esteemed Nanzhao's eyes and he was about to chase. However, he heard a cold snort and then Master Hong Shan arrived. Esteemed Nanzhao felt his vision blur and get replaced with red. His expression changed greatly and instantly retreated, no longer paying attention to Wang Lin. This old man hasn't killed for tens of thousands of years, so you all might have forgotten where this old man got his Taoist name from. Master Hong Shan waved his hand and endless red light appeared. These red lights didn't come from the distance, but from the bodies, the outer realm cultivators. It was as if their blood was shining through their bodies. The bloodlight pierced through the bodies of several cultivators, making it seem as if they were wearing bright red shirts. A blood-red shirt even appeared on esteemed Nanzhao's body. These shirts were not shirts, but it was still shocking. Thunderous rumbles echoed. The instant the red shirts appeared, miserable screams echoed. The blood inside these 1,000 cultivators was all forced out of their bodies due to a strange force. The blood was squeezed out from every pore on their bodies. Their miserable screams were filled with endless pain. Now these 1,000 cultivators were really wearing red shirts. The moment the red shirts formed, they immediately shrank. As their miserable screams echoed, these 1,000 cultivators quickly turned into mummies and died. Their origin souls were imprisoned inside their bodies and were unable to escape. When their bodies died, death energy rushed into their origin souls, making them like the living dead. If this was it wouldn't show off Master Hong Shan's methods. He waved his hand and the eyes of these dried-up corpses wearing the red shirts gave off monstrous bloodlights. As if they were being controlled, they charged into the outer realm cultivators and began a slaughter. Give me back my blood. I want blood, I want blood. Give me your blood. My body is very painful. My body is very dry. I want blood. Strange roars came from these cultivators. They wanted blood. After losing their blood, the pain they felt was not something others could understand. Esteemed Nanzhao also had a blood shirt around his body. He spat out a mouthful of spiritual force and his face became pale. His expression changed greatly, then his body trembled and collapsed. The moment his body collapsed, his origin soul and his eyes were filled with endless fear and panic. He faintly remembered a legend that had spread in the outer realm tens of thousands of years ago. A terrifying rumor about the Second Sealed Realm War. The rumor was only talking about one person. Bloodshirt Child. You read the Bloodshirt Child. There was a flash of coldness in Master Hong Shan's eyes as he charged at esteemed Nanzhao. He was going to kill. At this moment, among the second wave of Outer Realm cultivators, the expressions of the two third-step cultivators changed greatly. They clenched their teeth and charged at Master Hong Shan. Master Enlightened East also recognized that person from the terrifying rumors, and his expression changed greatly. He stopped paying attention to Zhou Lin, Ling Dong, and the heaven-splitting axe and charged at Master Hong Shan. 3 third-step cultivators. There was a hint of fierceness in esteemed Nanzhao's face as he retreated, and he waved his hand. He took out another body and entered it. He then waved his hand and 3 fist-sized balls of poison appeared. They shot toward Master Hong Shan. 4 third-step cultivators. The Fire Sparrow clan ancestor clenched his teeth and turned his attention away from Wang Lin. He also charged toward Master Hong Shan. 5 third-step cultivators to battle Master Hong Shan. Master South Cloud wasn't paying attention to Master Hong Shan or the countless Outer Realm cultivators. He was charging at the Realm Sealing Formation. His task was very difficult. He needed to repair the gap in the Realm Sealing Formation. The inner realm is not ready. It needs some more time. The Realm Sealing Formation can be opened. Master South Cloud felt anxious as he closed in on the formation. He immediately saw Ling Dong and Zhou Jin. Wang Lin, lend these 2 to this old man. Master South Cloud's hoarse voice echoed across the stars. Wang Lin immediately sent out a message while he retreated and healed. Ling Dong and Zhou Jin immediately flew toward Master South Cloud and clasped their hands. The 2 of you protect this old man. Master South Cloud didn't speak much, and after giving out an order, he stepped toward the Realm Sealing Formation. His hands quickly formed seals and large amounts of restrictions flew toward the Realm Sealing Formation. Grandmaster Yun Luo was in the outer realm surrounded by more than 100,000 cultivators. Her pupils shrank. She didn't expect that due to the accident with the Realm Sealing Formation, they would suffer such heavy casualties the moment they entered. The heaven-splitting axe was the biggest issue. Now that there was no one stopping it, it was chopping through the cultivators. It could clearly be seen from a distance, and every time it chopped down, 5,000 cultivators would die miserably. Grandmaster Yun Luo raised her hand. She pointed at the axe and softly said, "In such a short period of time, my outer realm has sacrificed nearly 20,000 cultivators. Heaven Punishment Palace Sword Clan Soul-Breaking Strike. Stop that axe!" As her voice echoed, the cultivators in black around the Heaven Punishment Palace all looked up. They charged toward the heaven-splitting axe without hesitation. As the axe fell once more, these nearly 1,000 cultivators silently appeared. They all made the same movement and a black, phantom sword seemed to appear and they swept forward. 1,000 rays of sword energy gathered and shot toward the axe. Thunderous rumbles echoed and the axe paused for a moment. The sword energy collapsed and the 1,000 cultivators coughed out blood. However, they didn't stop there. They waved their left hands. Their blood fused with their swords and they shot out the rays of sword energy stained in blood. Grandmaster Yun Luo's eyes lit up as she looked at Wang Lin in the distance. Her jade-like hand formed a seal and pointed at Wang Lin. 3 elders of the Sealing Extermination Clan, please take care of this child. No matter what the cost, seal or kill him. After Grandmaster Yun Luo spoke, 3 ghostly lights appeared behind her and turned into 3 figures in purple robes. These people in purple were like the sovereign. Their appearances were shrouded by their robes. Without saying a word, they charged at Wang Lin. It was at this moment the cultivators of the Cloud Sea arrived. The tens of thousands of cultivators began a brutal battle against the invading cultivators. The war was extremely fierce the moment it started. Crazed roars echoed, crazed slaughter was set off, and blood auras spread out like crazy. A Cloud Sea had just killed an Outer Realm cultivator, but before he could look up, a sword penetrated his body. An Outer Realm cultivator then came from behind and grabbed the sword to head to the next target. Glory to the Cloud Sea. The dying Cloud Sea cultivator struggled to turn to look at his homeland once more. However, his vision blurred, and he let out a miserable smile before he chose to self-destruct. If he was going to die, he was going to die with a bang. A thunderous rumble echoed when the Cloud Sea cultivator exploded into a destructive aura that spread in all directions. Even further away, a middle-aged man from the Cloud Sea was covered in wounds. Lots of blood was flowing out of his body. There were also 4 flying swords stabbed into him, causing a wide range of collapse. However, he charged forward while laughing as if he didn't know pain. He locked on to the Outer Realm cultivator, and when he closed in, his body exploded, forming a powerful shockwave so he could die along with the Outer Realm cultivator. Further away, an Outer Realm cultivator at the 3rd Heaven Blight was moving around like lightning. Often, large amounts of Cloud Sea cultivators would die whenever he passed by. During this chaotic battle, it seemed like no one could stop him. He appeared before a Cloud Sea cultivator and his hand pierced into this cultivator's chest. He took out the cultivator's heart and revealed a cruel smile. He crushed the heart in his hand, and just as he was about to leave, he frowned. The Cloud Sea cultivator that had his heart crushed and Origin's soul shattered had used the last ounce of power in his body to grab hold of this cultivator. The power of ants. The Outer Realm cultivator sneered and waved his hand. The Cloud Sea cultivator's body collapsed and was thrown away. His head flew out and was thrown into the distance. However, his eyes retained the hatred from when he was alive, staring at the Outer Realm cultivator. He watched the Outer Realm cultivator head swarmed by a large amount of Cloud Sea cultivators due to his delay. They didn't even try to fight. They all chose to self-destruct. If the self-destruction of 10 cultivators can kill you, then 100% would. If 100 couldn't kill you, 300 would. As the rumbles of the self-destructions echoed, the destructive force destroyed the Outer Realm cultivator. Even during his death, all he could hear were these 5 soul-shaking words. Glory to the Cloud Sea. The severed head closed his eyes as he flew off and was shattered by the fluctuations of a Outer Realm cultivator's spell. Embarrassed, I've been remiss in saying thank you. Thank you all for pressing the like button. Thanks to the fellow Taoists for their praise. Chapter 1522 3 Seals. Years later, a cultivator who was part of the first battle in the Cloud Seal went from a little Nirvana Scryer cultivation to a first Heaven Blight cultivator. He was now the head elder of a small sect in the Cloud Sea. He was qualified to teach Tao, and during one of his lectures, a disciple asked him what glory was. He answered like this. Glory is a will, a chaotic will. There is only one thought in this will, and that is to not allow yourself to retreat. To not allow the enemy to take one more step. Even if you die, you must die with a bang. However, not all cultivators can enter a madness like this. After all, we are still afraid of death, especially after the cultivators around you all die. Especially when tens of thousands of cultivators died, until there are only a few thousand left. Who isn't afraid of death? This moment glory is only an illusion. Not many people can be filled with glory in the face of death, but back then. A person said one sentence that changed it all. He let us know what real glory was. I still remember that sentence. It is something I'll never forget. Every time I think about it, I feel like I am back in that place, and my blood boils. Wang Lin's eyes were bloodshot as he retreated. He saw all of this, the madness of the Cloud Sea cultivators. He saw faces recalling the past fondly and felt an indescribable aura. Kill, 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 kill. Wang Lin suddenly turned around and charged into the enemy army. He raised his left hand and a monstrous flame shot forward. All the Outer Realm cultivators blocking his path died. He waved his right hand and thunder rumbled across the world. The endless thunder devoured the Outer Realm cultivators. His surroundings were full of Outer Realm cultivators. Wang Lin had broken off from the Cloud Sea cultivators and charged into the heart of the enemy army. Wang Lin's eyes were red from killing. He had no idea how many he had killed. He only knew that all the cultivators around him were enemies. Bloodlight flashed, and the blood sword surrounded Wang Lin, taking the lives of the Outer Realm cultivators. Just at this moment, 3 ghostly lights shot out from the Outer Realm army toward Wang Lin. When they got close to Wang Lin, they turned into 3 purple-robed cultivators. These 3 purple-robed cultivators floated there. Their hands formed seals and they began to chant. As a descendant of the Sealing Extermination clan, I offer my life to summon the Clan S spell to seal all his origin energy. Seal. As a descendant of the Sealing Extermination clan, I offer my life to summon the Clan S spell to seal all his vitality. Seal. As a descendant of the Sealing Extermination clan, I offer my life to summon the Clan S spell to seal his whole body. Seal. As three voices echoed at the same time, three rays of light shot out from between their eyebrows. These lights carried endless pressure and shot toward Wang Lin. Amidst his slaughter, Wang Lin looked up. His bloodshot eyes were filled with madness. In his brief killing, he had consumed a large amount of origin energy. He wasn't fighting against one person, but tens of thousands of people. There were no intricate moves, it's just how many invaders he could kill. All spells became very simple in this battlefield. They only needed to kill, kill, kill. The three Sealing Extermination clan seals howled across space and instantly collided with Wang Lin. The Sealing Extermination clan S seals could not be resisted. If their seals could be stopped, the Sealing Extermination clan wouldn't be such a powerful clan. Wang Lin let out a roar. When the three seals arrived, he threw a punch with his right hand. The punch howled through the air and a huge phantom fist appeared. It flew through the seals without doing anything to them. The moment the three seals landed on Wang Lin, the phantom fist landed on the three figures in purple. The first seal landed between Wang Lin's eyebrows. This seal rushed into his body and sealed his origin energy. The second seal also landed between his eyebrows. Wang Lin's face rapidly aged until he was an old man. The third seal landed at the same time. Wang Lin's body trembled. His 7-star ancient god power quickly left his body and was sealed between his eyebrows. Three seals flashed violently between Wang Lin's eyebrows. As they flickered violently, countless branches spread out over Wang Lin's body. At this moment, it looked as if Wang Lin was covered in a net of light. His origin energy, vitality, and physical strength were completely sealed. However, the price for sealing Wang Lin was their lives. Just as the three elders in purple sealed Wang Lin, they were hit by Wang Lin's punch. A violent wind swept by, and the hoods that covered their faces were blown off. The three of them remained calm and there was no fear in their eyes. When the first arrived, they closed their eyes. They had been adopted by the Sovereign Council when they were little to seal a third-step cultivator. To trade their lives to seal a third-step cultivator, that was their only value. Thunderous rumbles echoed when Wang Lin's phantom fist blew through them. Their purple robes were shredded, their flesh dissipated, and their origin souls collapsed. Although they had died, but their seals didn't dissipate. Grandmaster Yun Luo was observing this from a distance. She raised her right hand and pointed at Wang Lin. An order was given and the Outer Realm cultivators charged at Wang Lin. He has been sealed, now kill him and you can enter the ancient star system ranking. This person is already useless. Kill him! He killed countless of our fellow colleagues. He is a powerful third-step cultivator. Today we will kill him and shake the inner realm. Wang Lin had lost all his strength, so his body could no longer stay afloat, and he began to fall. In an instant, 10,000 cultivators closed in on him with monstrous killing intent. They threw their treasures at Wang Lin. Thunderous rumbles echoed, and Wang Lin was hit by countless treasures. Although he no longer had his cultivation, he still had his powerful body. Under this powerful impact, Wang Lin coughed out blood. Sealing Extermination clan! Wang Lin roared as his sealed cultivation, vitality, and ancient god power rushed at the seals in an attempt to break out. Thunderous rumbles continued as thousands of flying swords landed on his body. Popping sounds echoed and Wang Lin coughed out blood once more, but there was a flash of coldness in his eyes. After the large amount of treasures, the 10,000 cultivator closed in and their spells bombarded him. An Outer Realm old man approached. He raised his hand and let out a roar. Go die. His right hand shot toward Wang Lin's forehead and slammed down. However, when his palm landed, the old man let out a miserable scream and raised his right hand. Wang Lin's body was extremely strong, so the bones in the old man's right hand had shattered. Just at this moment, even more Outer Realm cultivators arrived. Spells appeared and more than 10 people's palms landed on Wang Lin. Thunderous rumbles echoed and Wang Lin coughed out blood once more. These hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people all launched their spells. Under this bombardment, more injuries appeared on Wang Lin, but the coldness in his eyes became even stronger. Not enough. Still not enough. Is this all the power you have? Wang Lin's voice was weak, but the cultivators here were in ordinary, so they could clearly hear it. Arrogant to the extreme. Kill him. Everyone attacked. This old man doesn't believe we can kill this person. What kind of body does he have? It's terrifying. Not only were the Outer Realm cultivators were shocked, so were the cultivators of the Cloud Sea. As they recalled this shocking scene, they remembered Wang Lin's identity. At this instant, all the Cloud Sea cultivators became crazy. They wanted to rush over to protect Wang Lin. Wang Lin's physical strength not only shocked the Outer Realm cultivators but caused their killing intent to become even stronger. Each of them used their full cultivation and launched their most powerful spells. The entire star domain was shaken by them. This storm rumbled and shot toward Wang Lin. Just at this moment, the expression of Grandmaster Yun Luo, who was watching all of this unfold, changed greatly. Cracks appeared on her right hand that was divinating and blood dripped down. Not good. This person can be killed like this. Shh. She was about to give her order, but she was a step too late. As the storm formed by the powerful spells of tens of thousands of cultivators closed in, there was a flash of coldness in Wang Lin's eyes. He clenched his teeth and allowed the storm to arrive. A thunderous rumble echoed. Inside this storm, Wang Lin's body was covered in wounds. Even his eyes were dim, and he was seriously injured. He coughed out blood, but inside his dim eyes contained a mad battle intent. The storm roared and continued to bombard Wang Lin's body. However, Wang Lin borrowed this external force to break the first seal. The moment the origin energy seal collapsed, Wang Lin raised his head and stepped forward. He waved his hand, causing ethereal fire to appear, and miserable screams echoed. The second seal collapsed. Wang Lin's old man face rapidly recovered to that of a youth, and his body's injuries rapidly recovered. The third seal collapsed and his ancient god power rushed out from between his eyebrows, filling his entire body. Have you guys all attacked enough? Wang Lin's voice echoed from within the storm. Feebly asking, 4,000 words, does that count as a major chapter? Could it be hoping for the like button for the video and the followers too? You are listening to a completely free audiobook on the Leo Audio YouTube channel. If you enjoy the story, please like the video to motivate the channel. Support Leo with a cup of coffee through the description link or on the screen. If you want to hear any other stories, just comment and let Leo know. Thank you very much for watching the video. Chapter 1523, Routed. The slaughter of the battlefield shouldn't have any silence. Right now, the scope of the battle was extremely wide, and the tragic deaths of all these cultivators was something that hadn't been seen for tens of thousands of years. Even the battle between Alheaven and the Alliance didn't reach what this battle had reached in a short period of time. However, right now, when Wang Lin spoke, the battlefield around him suddenly became silent. The strength of Wang Lin's body had brought unimaginable shock to the 10,000 cultivators that were attacking. Their eyes were filled with terror. They were scared. They didn't understand what kind of cultivator Wang Lin was to have such a powerful body. The power of his body was terrifying. In a short period of time, Wang Lin had survived through their frenzied attacks. In particular, the old man whose arm was broken was filled with endless fear, and at this moment, he didn't hesitate to retreat. This led these 10,000 cultivators to retreat like crazy. Their retreat caused the Cloud Sea cultivators to cheer. This scene was like a dose of adrenaline being injected into their bodies. Glory to the Cloud Sea. Glory to the Lord of the Sealed Realm. Glory to the Cloud Sea. Glory to the Lord of the Sealed Realm. Cheers echoed like crazy. At this moment, all of them looked at Wang Lin, who had walked out from the storm and continued the slaughter. When Wang Lin walked out of the storm, his eyes were filled with monstrous killing intent. He waved his right hand and the storm collapsed. It was sent scattering in all directions. At this instant, Wang Lin stepped forward. Ethereal fire and thunder shot at the surrounding cultivators. Miserable screams echoed once more, and the war continued. In the constant slaughter, Wang Lin was exhausted. His injuries were far worse than they seemed on the surface. He had already been seriously injured by the attacks of 10,000 cultivators. Even the recovery speed of a 7-star ancient god seemed unable to keep up with the intense war. His eyes were bloodshot from slaughter. He knew that this battle was far from over, but he couldn't retreat. Because Wang Lin had walked out, the morale of the Cloud Sea cultivators had undergone an insane boost. Although they had suffered heavy casualties, at this moment, they launched a frenzied counterattack. The formations Master Hongshan had passed on to them were engraved in their minds. At this moment, the remaining 30,000 cultivators all began setting a formation. Just as they were about to finish, the Outer Realm cultivators seemed to know that they should slaughter their way over to stop the formation from being set. Once could be coincidence, 2 times could also be coincidence. However, 3, 4, 5, and 6 times was not a coincidence. The formation of the Cloud Sea couldn't be set no matter how heavy the casualties were. The Outer Realm cultivators were filled with killing intent. Although some were afraid due to Wang Lin, most were still filled with killing intent. They charged in from the Outer Realm as if there was no limit. All of this was because of one person, Grandmaster Yun Luo. Grandmaster Yun Luo was deep within a large amount of cultivators in the Outer Realm. Her jade-like hands were forming seals and signs of divination were flashing in her eyes. She raised her jade-like hand and pointed forward. Orders were being sent. The army was split into 4 sections and they moved into the Inner Realm. Under her control, the army seemed to gain a soul. Grandmaster Yun Luo continued to divinate and see all possible dangers. This made it so the Cloud Sea cultivators still couldn't set up a formation to kill the enemy. Every time a formation was about to set, the woman would point, and a large amount of cultivators would charge out to stop the formation from being completed. Wang Lin's gaze was like lightning as he looked into the distance at Grandmaster Yun Luo. Killing intent appeared in his eyes. Master Hongshan, who was fighting 5 third-step cultivators, also looked up along with Wang Lin. Master Hongshan was at the mid-stage of Arcane Void, and was only 1 step from the late stage. He completely held the advantage while fighting 5 third-step cultivators, but he was still restricted for a period of time. It could be said that Master Hongshan had played a crucial role in this battle. He had held down all the third-step cultivators beside the head of the Heaven Punishment Palace, who was being trapped by the jade from the Lord of the Sealed Realm. This made it so no third-step cultivator could interfere with Wang Lin or stop Master South Cloud from repairing the realm-sealing formation. As he looked up, there was a flash of killing intent in his eyes. He waved his hand and a red cloud surrounded his body along with the other 5 third-step cultivators who were in a bitter struggle against him. He then charged toward Grandmaster Yun Luo with them. If this woman doesn't die, this battle will drag on. Master Hongshan roared and charged forward while 5 third-step cultivators were fighting him. He broke through the void and appeared next to the realm sealing formation. He went on and charged toward Yun Luo. The expressions of the cultivators around Grandmaster Yun Luo changed greatly and they charged forward. Only Grandmaster Yun Luo remained calm, and there was even a hint of mockery in her eyes. She had always been haughty and proud. In the inner and outer realms, only 3 people were worthy in her eyes. Even Master Hongshan was not worthy. She was waiting for Master Hongshan or Master South Cloud to arrive. The moment Master Hongshan arrived, ice began to rush out and shroud the inner realm. The 9 frozen planets in the ancient star system trembled. The boy inside the ice smiled and took a step forward. What moved was not his body, but the giant piece of ice. This ice trembled and disappeared without a trace. The moment it disappeared, it reappeared outside the realm's sealing formation and shot toward the gap. Just as Master Hongshan was about to kill Yun Luo, the cold energy came out of the gap in the formation. The giant ice not only broke through the formation, it ripped the gap even bigger and entered the inner realm. When it entered the inner realm, the ice collapsed into countless pieces. These pieces turned into an unimaginable ice storm that shot toward the 30,000 cultivators of the Cloud Sea. At the same time, the boy inside the ice revealed a fierce gaze and closed in on Master Hongshan. Bloodshirt child, back then you and I were both children. We battled many times, but it was not satisfying. Today we will battle again. Return to your original body. This mere avatar is not enough to battle this old man. The cold-looking child said in an indifferent voice. As his voice spread out, he had already closed in on Master Hongshan. Master Hongshan's expression was extremely serious, but he didn't speak. He took a step back and appeared before the ice storm charging into the Cloud Sea. He waved his sleeve and the storm was shattered. However, just as the storm was shattered, Master Hongshan's expression changed greatly. A red shadow appeared inside the storm. The red figure was flickering and was less than 100 feet from Master Hong Shan. It collided with Master Hong Shan at an unimaginable speed. After colliding, the red shadow quickly retreated, revealing a woman in red. This woman was the one that had used 3 drops of her essence blood to summon the 3 ghosts. One of the celestial imperial concubines. Master Hong Shan's face was pale and he retreated a few steps. A blood mark appeared on his chest. This blood mark looked like the head of a ghost, and it quickly spread. You read just as despicable as before. You haven't changed at all. Master Hong Shan stared at the cold-looking boy and the woman in red. Due to the appearance of the woman in red, the ice storm didn't completely disintegrate. The remaining storm shrouded the Cloud Sea cultivators, and cracking sounds echoed. The cultivators of the Cloud Sea were covered in frost and turned into ice sculptures that collapsed. In a flash, nearly 10,000 cultivators died. The deaths of nearly 10,000 cultivators caused fear to wash over the cultivators of the Cloud Sea. Facing such simple yet terrifying deaths, even their glory trembled and faltered. It was because of what the woman in red said next that the faltering glory began to collapse. That little girl, Yun Luo, has already calculated everything. The purpose of this battle is to kill you and that Master South Cloud? The cold boy guessed that you would attempt to save these Cloud Sea ants by stopping the storm. Yun Luo, figured you wouldn't notice me at this urgent moment, so I hid inside to land a heavy blow. This sentence filled the remnant Cloud Sea cultivators with despair. Everything was part of the enemy's plan. What did their glory count as? Even Master Hong Shan had fallen for their scheme. What did they have to maintain their own glory? What did they have to support themselves to continue fighting? The moment the glory collapsed, the mockery in Grandmaster Yun Luo's eyes became even stronger. She raised her jade-like hand and launched the decisive battle. The countless cultivators rushed out toward the cultivators of the Cloud Sea that had lost their glory. The casualties were heavy. While smiling, the woman in red didn't pay any attention to Master Hong Shan but went straight for the gloomy Master South Cloud, who was repairing the realm sealing formation. She was extremely fast and instantly closed in. Master South Cloud let out a sigh and gave up repairing the formation. He turned around and prepared to battle the celestial imperial concubine with Ling Dong and Zhou Jin. The cold-looking body didn't give Master Hong Shan a chance to recover. He was like a piece of never-melting ice as he charged at Master Hong Shan. He was joining the other 5 third-step cultivators to battle Master Hong Shan. This sudden reversal shook the star system. If the Cloud Sea didn't get reinforcements, they would lose this battle. The Third Army of the Outer Realm had more than 60,000 cultivators from 10 clans. They charged toward the realm sealing formation. Wang Lin watched all of this. He silently pondered and retreated until he was in front of the Cloud Sea cultivators. His eyes were filled with a monstrous battle intent. As the Cloud Sea cultivators felt despair, he let out a heaven-shaking roar. Cultivators like us never shrink from a fight. It's only death. Leo dreams of getting a lot of likes for this video, having many followers, plenty of shares, and everyone praising his good reading and the number of words he can read. So happy. Chapter 1524. Holding the heaven-splitting axe. Although this one sentence was a roar that shook the entire star domain, it wasn't enough to restore the collapsed glory. It wasn't enough to restore the desperate will to survive. There were less than 10,000 cultivators of the Cloud Sea remaining. Under the constant slaughter, they began to flinch. One person retreated, then everyone retreated like the tides, and everything collapsed. Every single Cloud Sea cultivator revealed despair as they looked at the Outer Realm invaders that were several times their number. They lost the courage to keep fighting. Once they retreated, the Outer Realm cultivators became even more fierce. Their mad laughter and roars spread out into the heart of every Cloud Sea cultivator. However, they were still retreating. Few people were not afraid of death, and they were afraid. The Cloud Sea is done for. Rather than dying here, might as well survive now the war is not over. Although this battle is lost, if I go to another star system, there will be another chance. Many excuses floated into their minds for their escape. They retreated even faster. Master Hong Shan didn't retreat. He was battling 6 third-step cultivators, and he knew he could not retreat. He was powerless to stop other cultivators from retreating in fear, but he was a third-step cultivator. If he retreated, this battle would really be over. The failure of the first battle would be a fatal blow for the inner realm, who hadn't finished their war preparations. As the Cloud Sea cultivators frantically retreated, the outer realm cultivators rushed like wolves into a flock of sheep. Miserable screams echoed, and without glory thousands more died. There was another person who didn't retreat. Wang Lin. He didn't speak again but raised his head with a determined gaze. He charged toward the outer realm cultivators pursuing the Cloud Sea cultivators. Every step he took caused thunderous echoes to rumble. Wang Lin waved his hand and the giant thunder tattoo appeared once more. The moment it appeared, Wang Lin's right hand ripped space itself. Open, ancient thunder realm. Space rumbled and a giant spatial rift was opened. An ancient aura rushed out. Then a number of ancient thunder dragons came out of the rift and entered the thunder tattoo. Endless thunder rained down. Every bolt of thunder was more than 100 feet thick, bombarding the enemy like crazy after Wang Lin released his thunder essence. A firestorm appeared out of nowhere, forming a giant vortex. There was a vermilion bird inside, and it shot toward the outer realm cultivators as it let out a cry. The thunderous rumble shook the star domain. One person stopped the pursuing outer realm army. One person caused the outer realm army to stop. This scene was enough to shock the hearts of all cultivators. The star domain seemed to be split in half. One side was the thousands of Cloud Sea cultivators in despair. The other side was the outer realm army that was 10 of thousands in number. At the center was Wang Lin. There was a huge thunder tattoo roaring in the space between them. There was a 9-colored firestorm revolving around Wang Lin. Wang Lin's back was turned toward the thousands of Cloud Sea cultivators, and he was facing the endless army before him. He calmly looked at them. He unexpectedly caused the entire outer realm army to not dare take even half a step forward. After a brief moment of silence, roars came out from the outer realm army and they rushed forward. Wang Lin didn't speak. He raised his right hand and the blood sword appeared. He grabbed the blood sword and stepped forward. The thunder tattoo's roar rumbled and the firestorm rotated around him. The moment the outer realm cultivators closed in, over 1,000 people began burning from the ethereal fire and retreated with miserable screams. More than 1,000 people were hit by thunder, and their bodies collapsed. However, there were simply too many outer realm cultivators, and there was a large amount of powerful cultivators among them. Wang Lin not reached the third step yet, but even if he did, he wouldn't be able to resist more than 100,000 cultivators. Storms of spells from the outer realm cultivators rushed at Wang Lin. This was a battle to the death, but he didn't retreat. He let out a roar and continued to rush forward. He coughed out blood and dyed his white clothes red. His eyes were bloodshot. His face was filled with exhaustion. His origin energy was drying up. His mind wasn't able to keep up, and the injuries on his body were becoming worse. Injuries covered his entire body. However, it was impossible to calculate the amount of outer realm cultivators that had died by his hand, and Wang Lin didn't try to calculate. At this moment, he couldn't find a reason for him to leave the Lord of the Sealed Realm's request, everyone he knew in the inner realm, his hometown. All of this made it so he couldn't retreat. Wang Lin's eyes were bloodshot, and the world became the color of blood. During this constant slaughter, one person from the retreating Cloud Sea cultivators stopped. He was a young man only at the Nirvana Scryer stage. He was lucky to not die during that tragic battle. He turned and stared at Wang Lin's back in the distance. He looked at Wang Lin charging into the endless waves of cultivators like two huge arms stopping the army. Cultivators like us never shrink from a fight, the young man muttered. The collapsed glory showed signs of reawakening. Another Cloud Sea cultivator stopped retreating and silently looked at Wang Lin's back. The battle intent in his eyes awakened, and his eyes turned red. A sense of madness erupted from his heart. Even more Cloud Sea cultivators stopped retreating and looked at Wang Lin, muttering, "Cultivators like us never shrink from a fight at this moment." An inexplicable feeling erupted. And it could make anyone go crazy. Cultivators like us never shrink from a fight. Cultivators like us never shrink from a fight. The Cloud Sea cultivators stopped one by one until these cultivators that were running away like homeless dogs all stopped. They all looked at Wang Lin, and at this moment, Wang Lin's roar echoed clearly in their ears. These words were feeble in their ears and weren't able to set off any ripples in their minds. However, at this moment, Wang Lin was using his actions to tell the Cloud Sea cultivators what the meaning of cultivators like us never shrink from a fight was. Although their glory to the Cloud Sea had collapsed, Wang Lin gave them another glory, the glory of battle. To fight for the Cloud Sea, to fight for their home, and to fight for everything they wanted to protect. Just at this instant, the giant heaven-splitting axe descended once more, and another 5,000 outer realm cultivators died. Wang Lin looked up at the heaven-splitting axe and charged up as the thousands of Cloud Sea cultivators watched. Lord of the Sealed Realm, help me! Wang Lin's roar echoed into the realm-sealing formation, into the jade that had trapped the palace lord of the Heaven Punishment Palace. The Lord of the Sealed Realm's remnant divine sense erupted with all the life force he had left. A gentle light spread into the entire realm-sealing formation. It went into the heaven-splitting axe that had just chopped down and was slowly rising up. The heaven-splitting axe suddenly trembled when this light fused with it. It struggled greatly and resisted the soft light. However, as the soft light continued to fuse with it, a thunderous rumble echoed and the large axe stopped in the air. Bursts of ancient god aura rapidly spread from it. Heaven-splitting axe, please lend my inheritor your power. An ancient voice came out of the formation and entered the ears of every cultivator. There was a hint of sorrow in Master South Cloud's eyes. How could he forget this voice? The expression of the woman in red that was fighting against him changed, and a rare trace of fear arose in her eyes. The memories of the past appeared in her mind. Master Hong Shan's expression was calm, but there were hints of reminiscence in his eyes. It was as if he had returned back to the past when he traveled with the Lord of the Sealed Realm. The Lord of the Sealed Realm's adherence to old ideas made him angry, but the Lord of the Sealed Realm would just silently shake his head and smile. The cold-looking boy also heard this, and a hint of fear also appeared in his eyes. The person he feared the most was not the sovereign, not the celestial imperial concubines, but the Lord of the Sealed Realm. As the ancient voice echoed, the heaven-splitting axe stopped struggling and shrank until it was several dozen feet tall. However, the ancient god aura it emitted increased greatly. Wang Lin leaped up and grabbed the heaven-splitting axe before everyone. This was an ancient god weapon, the most powerful royal clan weapon. This was a heaven-splitting axe. The moment Wang Lin grabbed the axe, his ancient god stars rotated rapidly. An aura similar to when he obtained the Ancient Order inheritance erupted from his body. It had been countless years since the axe had been sealed into the formation, and Wang Lin was the first ancient god to hold the heaven-splitting axe since then. 3,000 words in a major chapter. Wish that the like button for the video would break. Chapter 152, Carving a Bloody Path. As the drop of golden blood floated out of Xianxia forehead, it released a gentle glow. Wang Lin's expression remained the same as he reached out and grabbed the drop of blood. After scanning it, Wang Lin swallowed it without any hesitation. The drop of blood was now inside his consciousness and surrounded by his G realm. Right now, all he needed was one thought to kill Xianxia. Similarly, if Wang Lin were to die, then Xianxia would die as well. The soul essence blood is kind of like a restriction, only much more direct. Although a person's consciousness looks sturdy, it's actually very fragile. Once one holds too many drops of soul essence blood, it will cause one's own consciousness to enter a state of chaos, resulting in unimaginable consequences. Therefore, taking someone's soul essence blood is only a temporary measure, and many cultivators don't like doing so. After all, there are thousands of restrictions that do the exact same thing. There is also another point. Soul essence blood can only be extracted if the cultivator willingly gives it. Otherwise, unless one possesses a very powerful technique, it is impossible to force it out. Xianxia was also forced into a corner. He knew that Wang Lin wouldn't easily forgive him and would most likely place some kind of restriction on him. The reason he pleaded for Wang Lin to accept him as a disciple was to simply give Wang Lin a reason to let him live. But he could never have guessed that Wang Lin wouldn't care at all. Only then was he forced to hand over his soul essence blood. Only after seeing Wang Lin accept the soul essence blood did his heart finally calm down a little. Wang Lin coldly looked at him before turning around and coldly sighing to Munan, continued to lead the way. After Wang Lin killed the first elder of the fighting evil sect, he knew that he would have to wipe them out. If he had only killed a disciple, it wouldn't have been an issue, but since he killed an elder, they will definitely come looking for him. He was no longer the naive village boy from back then. He had grown a lot. All of the things that happened after he killed Teng Li taught Wang Lin many things. Since he already killed one, then he might as well kill 10. Since he already killed 10, then he might as well wipe out the fighting evil sect. Only by wiping out the entire fighting evil sect can he prevent any more problems in the future. With this in mind, he grabbed Li Muan and quickly flew forward. At the same time, the attraction force technique formed two large hands, grabbed Munan and Mubei and threw them forward. The two brothers' faces were pale, but they didn't dare to complain at all as they quickly stabilized themselves and led the way with their heads down. As for Shangguamo, he wiped the cold sweat from his forehead and quickly followed behind. He cursed bitterly in his heart but didn't dare to show it, as he was afraid that that fiend would think of killing him again. Death spell, the technique he used, must be the death spell. To be able to master a technique as vicious as that, he isn't simple. Shangguangmo kept measuring Wang Lin in his heart as he secretly looked at him. Li Muan felt a very complex emotion. She never thought that Wang Lin would really reach the core formation stage. He also proved what he had said the entire way so far. Against cultivators below the nascent soul stage, he is invincible. She felt like she was dreaming when she thought about the last several years she had spent in the Sea of Devils. Everything was just too different from what her normal life was before. The Li Muan, from before she would only cultivate or refine pills. Whenever she went out, her brother would also go with her. With her brother around, there wasn't any real danger. Due to her talent in pill refining and formations, she was loved by the elders and was very popular in her sect. There were many people in her generation that chased her, but none of them had managed to make her heart move. The first time she met Wang Lin, they mistook him for Sun Yukai and had a misunderstanding. Thinking about it now, if they had really fought back then not even her brother would have been his match. With her understanding of Wang Lin now, she knew that if they had fought, the only result would have been them being slaughtered by Wang Lin. Even her, with her beauty, would have died, as it wouldn't have any effect on Wang Lin. He is a heartless person. Li Muan watched Wang Lin and sighed. After all these years, she knew that he wouldn't have any perverted ideas about her. After all, in his eyes, she was only a pill furnace. Li Muan felt bitter in her heart. This bitterness became stronger and stronger until it spread across her whole body. Wang Lin frowned as he looked at Li Muan and coldly said, "Don't worry. Once I finish dealing with the matters here, I'll return you to the Hofen Alliance." Li Muan's face became even paler as she bit her lower lip and nodded. The two of them became silent. Soon, the two that were leading the way suddenly stopped. Their expressions were very gloomy and unsettling as more than 100 cultivator shadows appeared from the fog before them. Each of them stared at the large red punish above Wang Lin's head. Greed filled their eyes, but within that greed there was a sliver of dread. Wang Lin coldly looked at the group and calmly said, "Continue leading the way. If anyone dares to block our way, kill them." Shangguamo realized that this was his chance, and that he must do a good job. He jumped out and landed before Munan and Mubei. He smiled at them and said, "A group of Trash Foundation establishment cultivators. Listen well. Anyone that dares to block our path will die." As they continued forward, all of the cultivators moved out of the way. None of them planned to act in the first place. They all just wanted to see what kind of person had activated the 10,000 double 100-day kill order. The 10 bodies trapped by the dragon tendon behind Wang Lin caused their bodies to shiver. Even if they wanted to act, they would hesitate after seeing those bodies. However, the news of the 10,000 double 100-day kill order spread too fast. Soon, everyone within 10 million kilometers of Nandu knew about it and started asking around. Gradually, more and more cultivators appeared in the sky. Along the way, Wang Lin met these kinds of cultivators every now and then. Due to all the cultivators showing up, their speed was affected. Wang Lin became impatient. After seeing all the greed in their eyes, he wanted to kill them all. There were also a lot of cultivators following behind them with ill intent. Munan and Mubei's hearts trembled. Along the way, they met many people with higher cultivation level than them. Even some of the old guys who normally would never show their faces were following behind them. This caused them to become very unsettled. Forget them, even Shangguamo became nervous. If this were to continue, then it would start attracting the attention of cultivators outside of Nadu's area. After that, it would be hard to say whether or not a nascent soul cultivator would appear. He felt very worried and secretly wondered why that fiend hadn't started killing yet. If it was him, he would have started killing and used sheer power to suppress this situation. If more people gather, it will get complicated. The countless cultivators surrounding them caused Li Muwan to feel a bit scared, but after looking at Wang Lin, she calmed down a bit. Wang Lin's eyes became even colder as he suddenly stopped and looked at the surrounding cultivators with a cold smile on his face. His cold voice spread out to the crowd surrounding them. Anyone who is still here after 3 breaths will die. With that, he closed his eyes. After 1 breath, he opened his eyes. They were filled with red lightning. He switched from holding Li Muwan by her arm to her waist. With no time to enjoy that soft feeling, he suddenly charged backwards. The G-Realm divine sense spread out like crazy and a golden light shot out from his mouth that disappeared after a few flashes. This was the first time Wang Lin had began a large-scale killing spree. Killing Foundation establishment cultivators within the range of the GI realm was as easy as crushing ants. After hearing countless miserable screams, the remaining cultivators became terrified and quickly backed away. Eventually, a majority of the cultivators used up all of their spiritual energy to run, but before most would get far, there would be a flash of golden light and their heads would explode. Wang Lin's face was very cold and ruthless. As his cold gaze swept past each cultivator, they would bleed out of their orifices and die miserably. Every time a body fell from the sky, the dragon tendon behind him would make a new branch and bring the body back. Wang Lin's speed didn't slow down. Instead, he became even faster. His main targets were the core formation cultivators. As for the Foundation establishment cultivators, they were merely hit by the aftermath. At this moment, none of the surrounding cultivators had any greed left in their heads. The greed had been replaced with terror. With every kill, the word punish became a bit more red until it was like a bright candle in the darkness. It was so red that it looked like it could bleed. In addition to all of this, all of the escaping cultivators were terrified of the golden light. Every time it appeared, someone would die a mysterious death. In only 1 short hour, a majority of the escaping cultivators were killed by the crystal sword, and an unfathomable number of people had died to Wang Lin's G-Realm. There were already more than 1,000 corpses entangled in the dragon tendon behind Wang Lin. The tendon was like a cape of death flowing behind Wang Lin. At this moment, in the fog 1,000 kilometers away, stood 7 or 8 old demonic cultivators. None of them talked, but the dread in their eyes became more and more apparent. 3,000 words in a major chapter, hoping to be shared, hoping to get the like button hit for the video. Chapter 1525, No One Remembers. When Wang Lin grabbed the heaven-splitting axe, a powerful ancient god aura rushed into his body through his right hand. It went straight in between his eyebrows into the 8th star that was only a vortex. This ancient god aura was heaven-shaking. As it rushed into Wang Lin, his 8th star vortex began to swell and absorb like crazy. Cultivators like us never shrink from a fight. Wang Lin's voice was like thunder, and behind him, the Cloud Sea cultivators became crazy. Cultivators like us never shrink from a fight. This wasn't just Wang Lin's voice, but the cries and roars of the thousands of remaining cultivators. At this moment, they forgot about death. They forgot about everything. The only thing that remained was monstrous battle intent. Wang Lin stood above tens of thousands of people and looked at the thousands of cultivators behind him. Are you all willing to die with me? This line set off a storm and echoed into the ears of the thousands of cultivators, causing them to let out a heaven-shaking roar. This roar entered the ears of the countless outer realm cultivator and made their hearts tremble. They looked at Wang Lin with fear in their eyes. Countless years ago, during the Second Sealed Realm War, their ancestors also looked at another person with the same eyes, the Lord of the Sealed Realm at that time. Wang Lin's eyes were like lightning as he turned to look at Grandmaster Yun Luo, who was being protected by countless cultivators. Monstrous killing intent erupted from his eyes. He was prepared to do what Master Hongshan was stopped from doing. Before the excited gazes of the thousands of Cloud Sea cultivators and the fearful gazes of more than 100,000 Outer Realm invaders, Wang Lin stepped forward with monstrous killing intent. Kill! Wang Lin roared. This roar was heaven-shaking. It was an ancient god roar. This roar shook the heavens, and an indescribable aura erupted from Wang Lin's body and entered this roar. This roar caused the expressions of a large amount of outer realm cultivators to change, and they actually retreated. The shock to their souls caused endless fear to rise inside them. It was as if Wang Lin, who was holding the heaven-splitting axe, was an invincible existence. The shocking battle intent erupting from his body would cause anyone who blocked him to collapse. Those thousands of crazed cultivators moved with Wang Lin. Thousands of Cloud Sea cultivators charged forward like crazy. They were going to die. The Cloud Sea cultivators could die in battle, but they couldn't escape. This was a determination, a will, a glory, the glory of dying in battle. This glory was going to spread across the entire inner realm and ignite the frenzy of war. Only then could there be a sliver of hope for victory when the gap between the two sides was so great. The war that would last an unknown amount of time had just begun. If they lost this battle, there will not be any living being left in the inner realm. This was a real battle to the death. In the cold mountain in the distance, the beacon burns for several seasons. Those that died at the frontier were buried but not remembered. Wang Lin rushed into the invading outer realm cultivators like a sword piercing into the enemy. He didn't wave the heaven-splitting axe in his right hand. He only lifted his hand. Just the killing intent made it so no one dared to block him. Grandmaster Yun Luo's expression changed greatly. She stared at Wang Lin and raised her jade-like hand. As the orders were sent, the shocked outer realm cultivators all charged forward with ferocious expressions. It was as if this was the only way to mask their fear. Wang Lin's eyes were bloodshot as he continued rushing forward. A powerful storm surrounded his body. No one could block him. No one dared to block him. Kill! Those cultivators that had charged forward immediately scattered. The fear in their hearts suppressed their ferocious expressions. Master Hongshan and Master South Cloud immediately charged forward to stop all the third-step cultivators from interrupting. However, the cold-looking boy was on par with Master Hongshan, who had just been injured by the celestial imperial concubine. Even with his cultivation level, he couldn't hold everyone off when facing so many third-step cultivators. The Fire Sparrow clan ancestor was the first to rush out from the battle against Master Hongshan. He was filled with killing intent and surrounded by black fire as he charged forward. As he charged forward, his Fire Sparrow mark flashed and rushed out, forming a giant black firebird. The firebird was very large, and it surrounded the Fire Sparrow clan ancestor's body. A large amount of joss flames appeared above the firebird, giving it a powerful momentum. He charged through layers of cultivators toward Wang Lin. Little bastard, so what if you have the heaven-splitting axe? Let this old man show you how I'll kill you. He was extremely fast, and in an instant, he was less than 10,000 feet from Wang Lin. The black firebird released menacing-looking flames that were closing in on Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes were red from killing. He stared at the Fire Sparrow clan ancestor as he charged forward. He didn't speak a word and jerked the heaven-splitting axe in his right hand. His ancient god stars rotated rapidly, and ancient god power filled his body. He mercilessly chopped down on the incoming Fire Sparrow clan ancestor. Anyone who blocks me will die. Wang Lin jumped forward and waved the heaven-splitting axe. A giant phantom axe appeared before Wang Lin. This phantom axe was very large, almost as large as the formation spirits. It chopped down at the black firebird. This axe was heaven-shaking, and it attracted too much attention. Even the various third-step cultivators battling Master Hongshan and Master South Cloud all looked over from the corners of their eyes. There was no need to speak of the countless invading cultivators that had rushed in. They looked over with fear and expectation in their eyes. They were expecting the Fire Sparrow clan ancestor to kill Wang Lin so Wang Lin could die before them. This was the only way to disperse the fear that lingered in the hearts of the outer realm cultivators. The thousands of Cloud Sea cultivators behind Wang Lin looked up in excitement. They didn't fear death, but if Wang Lin was blocked by the Fire Sparrow clan ancestor, even if those two began a fierce battle, it would heavily impact the fierce momentum they had just built up. Wang Lin couldn't be blocked, not even for a breath. Wang Lin was filled with killing intent when the phantom axe smashed down on the black firebird. The black firebird released a monstrous flame to resist the heaven-splitting axe. However, this axe was the heaven-splitting axe. Thunderous rumbles echoed and the monstrous fire collapsed. The fire wasn't able to resist at all as the phantom axe pierced through. Thunderous rumbles echoed across the stars. Everyone clearly saw what happened next. and it was something they could never forget. The pride of the Cloud Sea cultivators, the immortal nightmare of the Outer Realm invaders. The phantom axe didn't stop, it swooped down upon the black firebird. The firebird let out an extremely miserable cry that echoed in the hearts of all the cultivators present. The black firebird's body was chopped in half by the heaven-splitting axe and collapsed. This revealed the pale-faced and terrified Fire Sparrow clan ancestor that was inside the firebird. He watched the axe fall with a momentum he couldn't resist. It was as if he had lost all power to fight back, only able to watch the heaven-splitting axe land between his eyebrows. Thunderous rumbles echoed, and an aura of death rushed into the Fire Sparrow clan ancestor. Blood erupted from between his eyebrows, and a line of blood appeared. This line continued to spread and eventually split apart. It ripped away his flesh, blood, and his clan mark, revealing his skull. His skull began to shatter, and cracks appeared, revealing the pink brain below. The phantom heaven-splitting axe chopped down and cut his brain like tofu. It mercilessly slashed down and split the Fire Sparrow clan ancestor's head in half. Cracking sounds echoed as the phantom heaven-splitting axe moved. Blood erupted from the neck, chest, and every part of the Fire Sparrow clan ancestor's body. The axe pierced through and split his entire body in half. His origin soul wasn't able to escape. It was destroyed as his body was chopped in half and dissipated among the stars. All of this happened in a flash. Instant kill. Instantly killing a third-step cultivator. After the axe passed through, everything became silent. The Outer Realm cultivators were staring at the collapse of the firebird, and were stunned by the corpse of the Fire Sparrow clan ancestor that was chopped in half. They couldn't believe it. They didn't dare to believe it. At this moment, no one could stop Wang Lin. He charged through the Fire Sparrow clan ancestor's torn-up corpse. He was filled with killing intent as he stared at the pale Grandmaster Yun Luo, who was filled with fear. All Outer Realm cultivators seemed to react at this moment. They all let out screams of terror, and all the cultivators before Wang Lin retreated. Even the cultivator closest to Grandmaster Yun Luo became pale and subconsciously retreated. They looked at Wang Lin as if he was a demon that had climbed out from hell and was going to destroy all life. Even Grandmaster Yun Luo started to retreat. The fear in her eyes was even more intense than others. She looked at Wang Lin and recalled the image she had delineated. The back of the figure in her vision, that terrifying existence, seemed to be walking toward her. Glory to the Lord of the Sealed Realm! Glory to the Lord of the Sealed Realm! Excited roars came from those thousands of cultivators. Their voices became louder and louder and more excited, until they become a sound that seemed to echo for an eternity. Glory to the Lord of the Sealed Realm! Tonight there will be 2 to 3 new chapters. Leo will do his utmost to make up for the chapters missing from the last 2 days. Chapter 1526. Nanzhao dies! This was the real glory of the Lord of the Sealed Realm. It was a sense of haughtiness, an aura that made everyone before him seem like mere ants. The endless, invading cultivators before Wang Lin retreated in terror. Wang Lin's speed seemed to reach a limit. Every step he took emitted a thunderous rumble that shook the stars. The heaven-splitting axe that had killed the Fire Sparrow clan ancestor released a howl. This howl was filled with killing intent and crazed determination that collapsed the Outer Realm cultivators' will to battle. This was just the first battle. It was just the start of the war, yet a third-step cultivator of the Outer Realm had already been killed. He wasn't even killed by despicable means, nor by a powerful cultivator like Master Hongshan. He was killed by Wang Lin, who was viewed as the Lord of the Sealed Realm in a straight and fair battle. There was no better method of disintegrating the confidence of the Outer Realm cultivators. Wang Lin had done all of this with his own strength. He had obtained the first kill in the first battle of this war that really made him famous in the Outer Realm. Taoist Water's death didn't count as anything. It was merely killing a slave. However, the Fire Sparrow clan ancestor's death was different. It was a grand battle merit from killing a general of the other side. This was the brightest light for the Cloud Sea cultivators that had suffered heavy casualties. The 100,000 Outer Realm cultivators began to slowly retreat. Aside from fear, there was also a sense of awe in their eyes. Even the cold-looking boy and the celestial imperial concubine looked over. Master Hongshan's heaven-shaking laughter suddenly echoed. The Lord of the Sealed Realm has killed a third-step cultivator of the Outer Realm. We have not lost this battle." As his laughter echoed, he waved his sleeves. A red light flashed out from within his body and he charged at the cold-looking body. He trapped the remaining third-step cultivators with him. Master Southcloud also laughed as he blocked the celestial imperial concubine and battled against her. No one seemed to be able to stop Wang Lin as he charged forward with the heaven-splitting axe. The Outer Realm cultivators continued to retreat, but they weren't as fast as him. From afar, he looked like a blade piercing into the abdomen of the invading army, and he continued to charge through. Thunderous rumbles echoed. Before the lingering sound dissipated, another rumble would start. Grandmaster Yun Luo's face was extremely pale as she subconsciously retreated. Her right hand continued to form seals as she divinated for a chance of survival. Her hand was blurry as it changed rapidly. "Stop him!" Grandmaster Yun Luo screamed for the first time in this battle. Her voice was filled with endless fear and sounded distorted. There were many third-step cultivators battling Master Hongshan. The cold-looking boy's cultivation level matched his, and the boy waved his right hand, creating a cold aura. This cold aura affected esteemed Nanjiao and pushed him out of Master Hongshan's suppression. "Kill the Lord of the Sealed Realm!" Cold-looking boy roared. He saw that the hearts of the Outer Realm cultivators had been shaking. What happened earlier not only collapsed the battle intent in their hearts, it also caused intense fear to spread. This kind of thing was very deadly in a great battle, and he couldn't let this matter continue. If they really let Wang Lin charge into the army and kill Grandmaster Yun Luo, then even if they won in the end, it would actually be a loss. In his eyes, this was very easy to resolve. As long as they killed Wang Lin, everything would be fine. He had not only allowed esteemed Nanjiao to leave, but also another third-step cultivator that came with the second army. This third-step cultivator was an old man in blue from the Bai Lei clan. After he was broken free, he suddenly charged at Wang Lin. Esteemed Nanjiao was far faster than the old man in blue. He turned into a ray of black light as he charged toward Wang Lin with even more powerful killing intent than before. At this moment, Wang Lin was charging through the Outer Realm army. Any cultivator that couldn't retreat in time could be burned by ethereal fire and scream miserably before collapsing. He was less than 5,000 feet from Grandmaster Yun Luo. 4,000 feet, 3,000 feet, 2,000 feet. Just when he was only 2,000 feet away, esteemed Nanjiao arrived behind Wang Lin. His expression was gloomy as he stared at Wang Lin. He waved his hand and a 5-colored poison smoke appeared. This 5-colored smoke was esteemed Nanjiao's life essence poison. It had been refined by him for countless years from all the poison he had collected. It was his most important treasure, and it could be compared with Great Desolation-S poison. Junior Wang Lin, this battle is over. A cold light flashed in Nanjiao's eyes and his right hand reached out. He was less than 1,000 feet from Wang Lin. The 5-colored smoke behind him shot forward and turned into 5 tornadoes. Thunderous rumbles echoed across the stars. The 5 tornadoes closed in on Wang Lin from behind. Just at this moment, Wang Lin suddenly turned around. His blood-red eyes were filled with killing intent. He had to kill anyone who tried to stop him. This momentum could not be stopped. Wang Lin's ancient god stars rotated, and the Emperor Furnace appeared. The moment it appeared, 9 drops of poison appeared before Wang Lin. "Poison. I have it as well. Only 3 drops are needed to kill you." Wang Lin waved his left hand, and 3 drops of poison flew toward the 5 tornadoes. The moment the poison appeared, esteemed Nanjiao's pupils shrank. Great Desolation-S poison. If it was Great Desolation using it personally, it might be a threat, but you even dare to take this thing you obtained through some unknown method out? Esteemed Nanjiao sneered as he closed in with the 5 tornadoes. He was less than 500 feet from Wang Lin. Just at this moment, the 3 drops of poison collided with the 5 tornadoes. The 3 drops of poison exploded and turned into a monstrous poison ocean. This poison was ethereal and soon changed into a large palm that directly smashed into the 5 tornadoes. The 5-colored smoke was formed completely of different shocking poisons. However, at this moment, when it touched the poison drop, it acted as if it had encountered an even stronger poison and was devoured. 1 tornado directly dissipated into the poison ocean. Before esteemed Nanjiao could react in horror, 2 more tornadoes collapsed. "This isn't Great Desolation-S poison." Esteemed Nanjiao's expression changed greatly. He had been accompanied by poison all his life and knew all the poisons in this world. However, the 3 drops of poison that had turned into this poison ocean was a poison he had never seen before. This poison was very similar to the Great Desolation's poison, but there was a strange difference. It was this difference that made it so esteemed Nanzhao could not notice how terrifying it was until it was right before him. All of this happened in a flash. The 5 poison tornadoes collapsed and were absorbed by the poison ocean. Then the ocean charged toward Nanzhao like a monstrous wave. Both sides were too close, less than a few hundred feet away, so not even esteemed Nanzhao could avoid it. Just as his expression changed, he took a step back and his body became blurry as if he was going to dissipate. Just at this moment, the poison ocean rushed through him. A miserable scream came from inside the poison ocean. Esteemed Nanzhao's blurry body was forced to reappear. His skin began to fester and poison smoke was released from his body. His eyes became filled with unimaginable fear and he retreated like crazy. He wanted to break free from this poison ocean. What kind of poison is this? Not even Great Desolation can refine this kind of poison. Esteemed Nanzhao's expression was miserable as he quickly retreated. However, after moving only several feet, his feet melted into blood water. Even his bones melted. Miserable screams that could shake one's mind echoed across the stars, and until they became a shocking cry for help. Esteemed Nanzhao's lower body had dissipated completely. His arms melted into blood water as he attempted to raise them. Even his upper body melted as well as the poison ocean wrapped around him. The screaming suddenly stopped. The poison ocean returned to Wang Lin along with esteemed Nanzhao's soul, which could be dead or alive, and was put inside Wang Lin's emperor furnace. Only the remnants of a miserable scream still echoed inside the ears of the 100,000 cultivators. The fear in their eyes reached a limit. In particular, the old man in blue that had stepped forward stopped in terror. When Wang Lin coldly looked over, cold sweat appeared on the old man's forehead, and he quickly retreated. Wang Lin waved his left hand while he silently pondered. The remaining 6 drops of poison around him flew into the poison ocean and formed a giant vortex around him. He didn't have time to feel heartache for this treasure. Wang Lin let out a roar and pointed with his left hand. The poison sea vortex rushed out. Then his right hand reached at the void and a spatial rift appeared. Countless fierce mosquito beasts charged out. Whether it was the poison ocean or the mosquito beasts, both were things Wang Lin could use earlier, because they were his aces in a group battle. The 3rd step cultivators of the outer realm clearly still had power to spare, and if not used at the critical moment, these aces would be stopped before their full effect could come into play. Although right now was not the best time, Wang Lin couldn't wait. As for the nether beast, after devouring the golden storm, it seemed to have disappeared. Wang Lin had attempted to summon it many times, but there was no response. The poison ocean scattered, and the mosquito beasts howled. Wang Lin held up the heaven-splitting axe and charged at the pale Grand Master Yun Luo. He swung down with his right hand and the heaven-splitting axe chopped down. Good night, everyone. We will meet again tomorrow. Just wait a moment. Remember to like the video. Chapter 1527. I'll Heaven and Summoned River Move. There was a flash of axe light and space itself seemed like it was going to be split apart. The heaven-shattering rumble gave off a pressure that shook the hearts of the invading cultivators. It was as if everything in the world had disappeared and this giant axe was the only thing that remained. There were still many cultivators before Grandmaster Yun Luo who hadn't retreated yet. They looked in shock as the giant axe rushed toward them. The outer realm cultivator in front was a middle-aged man in black. He only had time to raise his hand before his body and form a seal as he subconsciously tried to resist. However, the axe just whizzed past him. A line of blood appeared between his eyebrows and quickly extended across his body. The clothes he was wearing gave off a tearing sound as they split. His face still retained the horror as large amounts of blood ejected from his body, and he was split in half. There were dozens of cultivators behind this middle-aged man. It was as if the stop spell had been used on them when the giant axe passed by. Their bodies trembled and were cut in half. It was impossible to describe the speed of the axe. Before the howling dissipated, the hundreds and thousands of outer realm cultivators behind those dozens felt their vision blur. Their vision never returned. Their bodies collapsed as the sound of the axe passing by echoed. The cultivators behind them all remained still like statues. until the axe passed through them like a meteor. A line of blood appeared between their eyebrows and they died one by one. It seemed like no force could stop this axe from penetrating through all the cultivators. The axe closed on the deathly pale Grandmaster Yun Luo. A rare sense of helplessness appeared in Grandmaster Yun Luo's eyes. Her vision was enveloped completely by this monstrous axe. It was as if everything in the world had disappeared and this murderous axe was the only thing that remained. All of this happened too fast. When the axe closed in, Grandmaster Yun Luo only had time to bite her tongue and cough out a mouthful of blood. The blood formed a palm-sized blood shield. This blood shield was an octagon with very uneven edges. The moment the blood shield appeared, the axe landed on it. A shocking sound echoed across the stars. The blood shield was like a piece of tofu. It couldn't even withstand one blow. The runes on it shifted rapidly, changing into a net that wanted to stop the axe. As the rumble echoed, the net was of no use, and the axe pierced through it onto the blood shield. The blood shield broke without being able to hold off the axe at all. The axe landed on Grandmaster Yun Luo's delicate body before she could even react. The axe swing went through Grandmaster Yun Luo's body and into the gap in realm ceiling formation behind her. The entire realm ceiling formation trembled. All of this happened in an instant. When the realm ceiling formation trembled, Grandmaster Yun Luo coughed out a mouthful of bright red blood, and her body split into two pieces of clothes that began to fall. If these two pieces of clothes were connected together, they would be the same as a doll mortal children would play with. This doll had a nose and eyes. It looked exactly like Grandmaster Yun Luo. It's an avatar. Wang Lin stepped forward and arrived at where Grandmaster Yun Luo was. His eyes were filled with killing intent as he stared at the two pieces of clothes. He waved his left sleeve and a monstrous fire burned those two pieces of clothes. Even if it's as an avatar, I can find your original body. Wang Lin had made up his mind to kill Grandmaster Yun Luo. The moment he realized this was an avatar, his left hand formed a seal and the two pieces of burning clothes collapsed. As they collapsed, two strands were extracted by Wang Lin's spell. They intersected as if they were two snakes and formed a vortex. Nether guide. Pass. With a roar, the vortex formed a black hole. The black hole was completely dark and it was unknown where it led to. However, just as the black hole appeared, the thunder tattoo in Wang Lin's right eye flashed. The G realm that was sealed as an accompanying thunder shot out of Wang Lin's right eye without hesitation and flew into the black hole. At the same time, the fire essence rushed into the vortex behind the G realm thunder. Thunder and fire rushed in. In the ancient star system, one of the three forbidden lands of the Sovereign Council. This place didn't exist in normal space. It was the Holy Land Grandmaster Yun Luo's ancestors had passed down for generations. The lake was clear, and there was an island in the middle. She was sitting under a pavilion on the island, wearing white, and her long black hair flowed down. Her face was pale and her eyes were closed. The moment her avatar was killed by Wang Lin, her body trembled and she coughed out a mouthful of blood. The blood turned into blood mist that drifted away. A few drops landed on her white clothes, making for a shocking sight. She opened her eyes, revealing that they were filled with fear. However, her expression suddenly changed. She looked up just as a black hole-like vortex appeared above the island she was on. The moment the vortex appeared, the sound of thunder rumbling began to echo. The thunder was red, and the moment it appeared, it dyed the sky blood red. A bolt of red thunder descended down on the island Grandmaster Yun Luo was on. As the red thunderbolt descended, it grew larger and larger until it was more than 1,000 feet long. It was like a bolt of heavenly thunder that was going to destroy everything on the island. The pressure of the G realm spread out from the red thunder. A heaven-shaking bang echoed when the red thunderbolt landed on the island. The entire island trembled. After the thunder, the endless fire surged and surrounded the island. From afar, it looked like a sea of fire burning. Even the water in the lake was dissipating into white gas due to the sea of fire. The thunder and fire mixed together. The island trembled violently as if a giant hammer had struck it. It was torn apart into pieces and scattered in all directions. Third divination. The heavenly thunder descends. Fourth divination. The sea of fire burns. Fifth divination. The island scatters. Grandmaster Yun Luo was sitting on a piece of the island at the center, and the pavilion behind her gave off a gentle light. She coughed out blood once more, and her face was ashen as she bitterly looked at the world around her. Ancestor S8, divination, the fifth divination. Just at this moment, the G-Realm thunder closed in on Grandmaster Yun Luo after destroying the island. It looked like countless blood snakes swimming, making for a shocking sight. This red snake-like thunderbolt rapidly condensed on the gentle light around Grandmaster Yun Luo. An instant later, it collided with the gentle light. The gentle light began to distort and condense until it was wrapped tightly around Grandmaster Yun Luo's body. It flickered violently in an attempt to resist the G-Realm thunder. However, the gentle light was clearly no match. After resisting for a few breaths, it collapsed. The endless red thunder rushed in toward Grandmaster Yun Luo's original body. When the red thunder arrived, Grandmaster Yuo Luo bitterly waved her jade-like hand. A black skeleton appeared before her. This skeleton gave off ancient aura. It was the bones of her teacher. The moment the bones appeared, the red thunder seemed to be attracted and rushed into the skeleton. Thunderous rumbles echoed, and the skeleton suddenly collapsed. Sixth divination, Ancestor S remains shatter. Seventh divination, the soul returns to merge with the clan. Eighth divination. The autumn orchid revives. Ninth divination, Grandmaster Yun Luo's voice gradually dissipated within the rumbles. After her master's bones had absorbed all the red thunder, they collapsed. The fragments formed a storm that wrapped around Grandmaster Yun Luo's body. Her body shattered and completely disintegrated. Even her origin soul collapsed. However, her soul fused with the storm of bone fragments and disappeared along with the storm in a flash. In the Cloud Sea battleground, Wang Lin was holding the giant axe up as he stood there, and his gaze swept past the outer realm cultivators. There was a flash of killing intent in his eyes. The poison ocean howled across the stars, and the tens of thousands of mosquitoes beasts roared as they moved with the poison ocean, charging toward the 100,000 outer realm cultivators. In the distance of the Cloud Sea, large ripples suddenly appeared. Inside the ripples, 1, 2, 3, more than 900 cultivation planets suddenly flew out. The Al-Heaven reinforcements had arrived. Even further away, bolts of lightning appeared out of nowhere. They ripped open the void and quickly closed in. It wasn't say a few bolts of lightning, but countless bolts. The summoned river reinforcements had arrived. 4,000 words in a major chapter. Read an extra 1,000 words, wishing for the like button on the video to help. Chapter 1528, Female Cultivators from the Summoned River. The cultivators from the Summoned River stood on their bolts of lightning. Some carried one person, some carried more than 10, and some carried even hundreds of cultivators on them. The Summoned River cultivators that had never appeared in the other 3-star systems before appeared in this shocking manner. The bolts of lightning gave off a thunderous rumble. They were so fast that they were impossible to track with the naked eye. Their clothes were a bit strange. They were military-like, seeming as if they had uniform attire at a glance. Although they weren't identical, it only seemed as if they were from different countries. One thing that was very strange was that a majority of the cultivators were female cultivators. This was something that was extremely rare in Al-Heaven, the Cloud Sea, and the Alliance. Among the tens of thousands of cultivators from the Summoned River, only a few thousand were males. The Summoned River cultivators all had a serious expressions. They were determined and filled with killing intent. Although they were female, at this moment their killing intent wasn't lacking. A scholar-like cultivator wearing a long shirt stood on a dragon-shaped lightning bolt. Her hair fluttered, revealing a beautiful face. Beside her was a beautiful middle-aged woman who was silently following on a bolt of lightning. On the Al-Heaven side, a large amount of Al-Heaven cultivators came through the ripples along with the cultivations planets. They were from various families, but they were united. Master Lu Fu was in front, and he charged forward with a gloomy expression. He waved his sleeves and his broken sword flew out. At this moment, they were not Summoned River cultivators or Al-Heaven cultivators. At this moment, they were all Inner Realm cultivators. The reinforcements from Al-Heaven and the Summoned River made the few thousand remaining Cloud Sea cultivators even more excited. They were already not afraid of death, and when they saw reinforcements they became even more energetic. As for the Outer Realm cultivators, although they had more people, their hearts were shaken. As the poison ocean and mosquito beasts attacked, miserable screams echoed and they quickly scattered. As a result, it was as if they were routed. Wang Lin's roar was like a powerful blow that had collapsed the remaining resistance in the hearts of the Outer Realm cultivators. The Fire Sparrow clan ancestor is dead. The third step cultivator Nanzhao is dead. The Sovereign Council's Grandmaster Yuo Luo is dead. Next is you. Wang Lin's eyes were bloodshot as he walked forward waving the axe. Thunderous rumbles echoed and corpses filled the area. Master South Cloud was battling the celestial imperial concubine. At this moment, the girl from Summoned River that was dressed like a man closed in with lightning popping around her. Fellow cultivator South Cloud, leave this person to Purple Dream, the scholar said softly. She then waved her jade-like hand as she stepped into the battlefield. Master South Cloud smiled and retreated, no longer looking at the celestial imperial concubine. He took Ling Dong and Zhou Jin with him and began repairing the realm's ceiling formation. Lowly servant, why hasn't your elder sister come? The pupils of the celestial imperial concubine shrank and she let out a cold snort. The two of them attacked each other, but it was difficult for a victor to be determined. The scholar-looking woman remained calm and softly said, Elder sister will be here soon, you can wait a moment. As for Master Hong Shan, the beautiful middle-aged woman and Master Lu Fu joined the battle, which lessened the burden on Master Hong Shan. However, the cold-looking boy became gloomy. The attack of Alheaven and Summoned River caused the collapsed Outer Realm army to suffer even more death. The miserable scream of death seemed to linger for an eternality. Although most of the Summoned River cultivators were female, their attacks were all fierce. They specialized in speed, and their bolts of lightning zipped around the battlefield. The female Summoned River cultivators were launching their most powerful attacks. As for Alheaven, thunderous rumbles echoed within the formation made of over 900 planets. Phantoms of planets appeared and they smashed toward the Outer Realm cultivators. As the poison ocean raged, the Outer Realm cultivators screamed miserably as they melted into pools of blood and died one by one. Large amounts of mosquito beasts attacked these cultivators. They would often swarm a cultivator, and in an instant, the cultivator's blood and origin energy would be sucked dry before becoming mummified. The Outer Realm cultivators were forced back again and again. Nearly 10,000 cultivators died in this short period time, and they continued to retreat. Their confidence had been destroyed by Wang Lin when he killed 3 people. They no longer dared to battle. When they first came, they were filled with confidence. In their eyes, the Inner Realm cultivators were mere ants. They had come to kill and rob, thinking the Inner Realm couldn't put up any strong resistance. In truth, after they entered the Inner Realm, the massive deaths of the Cloud Sea cultivators just added to this belief, which made them excited. However, they were wrong. Now, all the Outer Realm cultivators knew they had looked down upon the Inner Realm cultivators. They had looked down upon the force they could release when their homeland was invaded. The death of the Fire Sparrow clan ancestor had shook their confidence. Esteemed Nanzhao's miserable scream had collapsed their courage to fight. Finally, the death of Grandmaster Yun Luo had completely destroyed their confidence. It had turned their self-confidence into monstrous fear. This war, We've lost the Outer Realm cultivators scattered in terror and retreated like crazy. They were afraid, and they wanted to leave the Inner Realm. To them, the Inner Realm cultivators were like lunatics. They didn't care if they lived or died. They only cared if they could kill one more before they died. The poison ocean roared, the mosquito beasts hissed, and the Cloud Sea cultivators attacked without fearing for their lives. The Alheaven cultivators rushed in, and the Summoned River cultivators closed in on lightning bolts. All of this formed huge net of slaughter. Wang Lin held up the heaven-splitting axe and charged forward. Every time he swung his axe, cultivators would die. His white clothes had already turned blood red. Then Wang Lin simply turned into a cloud of fog and rushed forward. The fog he formed was more than 100,000 feet wide, and it wrapped around a large amount of cultivators. All of these cultivators had their life force sucked away before they turned into blood water as they died. This was a counterattack. Just like how the Cloud Sea cultivators had been slaughtered, the Inner Realm cultivators were launching the final counterattack in this tragic battle. Under the impact of the Alheaven and Summoned River cultivators, the Outer Realm suffered even more casualties. The mosquito beasts and poison ocean were like a storm that would take any life they touched. Out of the more than 100,000 Outer Realm cultivators that came, there were less than 80,000 remaining. Just at this moment, the Third Army from the ancient star system arrived. They appeared outside the realm ceiling formation and were about to rush in. 2 third-step cultivators at the mid-stage of Nirvana Void appeared in front. They were about to bring nearly 50,000 cultivators in. Once they arrived, the routed Outer Realm cultivators would gain the will to resist. The Third Army hadn't even entered yet. But just their roars were able to make the scared and scattered Outer Realm army show signs of stopping their retreat. There was a flash of coldness in Wang Lin's eyes as he slaughtered. He turned into a vortex and rushed forward. He appeared above the hole in the realm ceiling formation. He stood inside the gap and waved his right hand. His voice spread in all directions. "With me here, unless I die, no one can take half a step into the inner realm." As he spoke, popping sounds came from his body. Then his body instantly expanded and his 7-star ancient god body appeared. His tens of thousands of feet tall body was extremely large, enough to shock any cultivator who saw him. Outside the realm ceiling formation, the third army from the outer realm rushed in. They didn't know Wang Lin's might, and despite Wang Lin's large body shocking them, there was no fear in their midst. They were filled with greed and madness as they rushed toward Wang Lin like locusts. Wang Lin stood there as he coldly looked at the outer realm cultivators coming at him. There were 2 third-step cultivators calmly looking at him. He right hand moved to the side, and when the third army of outer realm cultivators arrived, he let out a heaven-shaking roar. "Kill!" An ethereal firestorm rushed out from Wang Lin's left eye toward the thousands of cultivators in front. Those thousands of cultivators all screamed as they retreated with their bodies burning. Then they turned into ashes in an instant kill. Wang Lin roared again as the thunder tattoo in his right eye released endless thunder. The endless thunder spread out into a sea of thunder that rapidly expanded. Anyone who was touched by the thunder collapsed. The expressions of the third-step cultivators changed greatly. They didn't hesitate to charge toward Wang Lin. "Kill!" Wang Lin let out a third roar. He raised the heaven-splitting axe above his head and held it with both his hands. Then he mercilessly chopped down. With this chop, the 7 ancient god stars between Wang Lin's eyebrows rumbled as if they were going to explode. He was using all his ancient god power. With this chop, Wang Lin broke the last silver of confidence the outer realm cultivators had. With this chop, the heaven-splitting axe flew out of Wang Lin's hands. Brothers, have you not yet hit the like button for the VIDEO? Wish that the like button for the VIDEO would be hit. Chapter 1529, Deadlock. The heaven-splitting axe that flew out of Wang Lin's right hand expanded thousands-fold. As it chopped down, a giant rift appeared in space. This rift charged out of the gap in the realm ceiling formation and rushed out. The 2 third-step cultivators were shocked. At this moment, they didn't try to resist but quickly dodged. However, they were slowed by the giant axe. Just as they wanted to dodge, the heaven-splitting axe flew out. Blood sprayed everywhere, and the 2 third-step cultivators both coughed out blood. One of their arms separated from their body as the axe flew by. Their faces were deathly pale and they no longer dared to fight. They rapidly retreated and escaped. Although the 2 of them had managed to dodge with serious injuries, the cultivators of the third army could not dodge. As the heaven-splitting axe flew by, a large amount of lives ended. There were no screams, only collapse and disintegration. A giant gap tens of thousands of feet wide appeared in the army after the heaven-splitting axe passed through. This gap was completely empty, leaving only the smell of blood lingering. The heaven-splitting axe penetrated the cultivator army and flew off into the distance. It only slowly dissipated after flying out more than 1,000,000 feet away. The outer realm was completely silent. The third wave of outer realm cultivators stared in shock at the gap created by the heaven-splitting axe, and their hearts trembled. In the inner realm, the invading outer realm cultivators who saw this revealed despair. Anyone who enters the inner realm will die. Wang Lin clenched his right fist and coldly stared at the outer realm cultivators outside the realm ceiling formation. His voice was like a gust of cold wind. Just at this moment, the roar of a horn rapidly came from the ancient star system and entered the inner realm through the gap in the realm ceiling formation. This horn sound seemed to awaken the terrified third wave of outer realm cultivators, and they looked at Wang Lin with complicated gazes. They engraved Wang Lin's appearance in their hearts. In a flash, the third wave of cultivators slowly retreated and no longer charged toward the realm ceiling formation. They were flying off back into the ancient star system. The sound of the horn entered the inner realm and was heard by the tens of thousands of outer realm cultivators. They retreated even faster toward the gap in the realm ceiling formation. The shadow that was casted on their hearts by Wang Lin and the inner realm would linger forever. However, Wang Lin was standing in the gap in the realm ceiling formation. Not only had he blocked the third wave from entering, he was now indirectly blocking the only path of escape for the outer realm cultivators that had entered the inner realm. You all have killed tens of thousands of my inner realm-esque Cloud Sea cultivators. How can I let you all come and go as you wish? There was a flash of coldness in Wang Lin's eyes, and he didn't retreat half a step. The All-Heaven cultivators, the Summoned River cultivators, the remaining thousands of Cloud Sea cultivators, the Howling Poison Ocean, and the tens of thousands of mosquito beasts all charged at the retreating Outer Realm cultivators. As rumbles echoed, even more Outer Realm cultivators died. Desperation caused a sense of madness to erupt from within them, and they charged toward the gap where Wang Lin was. They wanted to leave. They wanted to return to the ancient star system. Tens of thousands of cultivators rushed toward the gap, with the inner realm cultivators chasing them. At this moment, all the cultivators were charging toward where Wang Lin was. Ethereal fire spread, and all the outer realm cultivators that were rushing over were burned by the ethereal fire. Master South Cloud had finished the slowest part of the repair, and it was near its end. The gap in the realm ceiling formation was gradually closing, which made the outer realm cultivators even more crazy. They continued to close in while Wang Lin's ethereal fire raged. No cultivator could get within 5,000 feet of Wang Lin. He stood there like a door sealing the heavens. No one could cross. The cold-looking boy, the celestial imperial concubine, and the remaining third-step cultivators of the outer realm were also anxious. However, due to being blocked by Master Hong Shan and company, they couldn't do anything. This battle was far more tragic than anything Wang Lin had seen in his life. Even with Wang Lin's heart of slaughter, he felt mournful. He raised his right hand and waved, sending out more than 10 ancient leaves toward the outer realm cultivators. These leaves formed more than 10 layers of seals, and stopped these tens of thousands of outer realm cultivators from escaping. The eyes of the All-Heaven cultivators, the female cultivators from Summoned River, and the thousands of Cloud Sea cultivators were red from killing. Their deaths and injuries were also heavy. If not for the poison ocean and the mosquito beasts, this battle would have been even more difficult for them. I want all of you who came from the outer realm to die. None of you will leave. Wang Lin's words were filled with determination. After the ancient leaves came out, his right hand quickly formed seals and endless restrictions appeared. The outer realm cultivators that were sealed were filled with despair as the slaughter continued. If they knew this would happen, they would have never dared to step into the inner realm. Just before the restrictions appeared from Wang Lin's right hand, a sigh came from the ancient star system. Then a burst of blue light accompanied the sigh. A person slowly walked out of the blue light. Wang Lin was familiar with this sigh. When he heard this sound, his heart sank. He turned his head to look at the rapidly recovering realm ceiling formation and saw the middle-aged man that had walked out of the blue light. Let them come back, the middle-aged man said slowly as he looked at Wang Lin. Tao Master Blue Dream, the pupils of Master South Cloud, who was repairing the realm ceiling formation, shrank. Tao Master Blue Dream had already reached peak of the arcane void stage, so he was no match for him. The power of a peak arcane void cultivator was terrifying beyond imagination. Among the 5 masters, not even Devil Master 9 Heaven and Tao Master Miao Yin could compare to Tao Master Blue Dream. There was only a sliver of difference in their cultivation levels, but that sliver was like a gully. Almost no one could make the sovereign change his plans. Miao Yin couldn't 9 Heavens couldn't but Blue Dream could. Master Hong Shan, who was battling the cold-looking boy, also became serious. Tao Master Blue Dream was simply too famous. Wang Lin's right hand paused for a moment as he looked at middle-aged man. The sound of slaughter still echoed in his ears. After a long time he shook his head. I don't want to attack you. Due to my kindness to you before, let them come back. My ancient star system has lost its first battle. Now, Dante forced me. The middle-aged man was calm and his voice was not strong, but it was filled with an irrefutable pressure. The sound of slaughter slowly stopped. Aside from Master Hong Shan and company, who were still fighting, everyone else focused on Wang Lin waiting for his answer. Wang Lin had already made the inner realm cultivators respect his identity as the Lord of the Seal Realm. Although his cultivation level wasn't as high as Master Hong Shan's, to them, he was worthy of being the Lord of the Sealed Realm. Wang Lin silently pondered as he looked at the middle-aged man, and a moment later, he clasped his hands, and a determined gaze appeared in his eyes. He waved his right hand and millions of restrictions appeared and condensed into a giant umbrella bone. When the bone appeared, the umbrella slowly spread out, and the realm-burning umbrella suddenly appeared. Taoist Master Blue Dream looked profoundly at Wang Lin and shook his head with a sigh. Due to my daughter, I have passed you spells and a Tao spell to avoid the celestial Imperial Concubine S attack. That was the first time. The Sovereign S fishing the moon in the well was the second time. Today is the third time. However, Wang Lin, you have to remember that there will not be a fourth time. The fourth time, IL attacked Tao Master Blue Dream withdrew his gaze and turned around. He ignored everything and disappeared in a flash of blue light. The moment he disappeared, the realm-burning umbrella completely appeared. The umbrella hadn't opened yet, but an eternal destructive fire appeared. Looking at where Tao Master Blue Dream disappeared, the faint shadow of a woman appeared before him. The woman was shaking her head and faintly smiling. Those words from hundreds of years ago appeared in his mind. Let us forget each other. The loss of vitality caused the woman's shadow to fade. All the vitality in Wang Lin's body rushed into the realm-burning umbrella and turned into a force that would support the opening of this umbrella. Thunderous rumbles echoed as the realm-burning umbrella slowly opened. The destructive fire rushed out and covered the area. Countless cultivators struggled in the sea of fire, and their distorted faces seemed to drill into Wang Lin's eyes. The first battle seemed like it was about to come to an end with the ancient umbrella opening, and both sides suffering heavy casualties. However, just at this moment, a killing intent that shook Wang Lin's mind came from the ancient star system and locked onto the area between Wang Lin's eyebrows. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed as he looked at the gap in the realm ceiling formation that had already healed to less than 1,000 feet wide. He saw one person, a person in white. He was holding a bow, and it was pointed at Wang Lin. The Sovereign S head disciple, Feng Yi. Wang Lin had seen this bow before. Thank you all for the support, especially for the large golden gifts from Leo. Leo is so touched he could cry. By the end of this month, Leo's video is facing a challenge in the popular rankings. Hoping to get more likes for the video. Chapter 1530, Li Kuangbo. Dao Ji Quang. The bow that shot down the ancient order S left eye. A heaven-shaking supernatural treasure that could be considered the peak of creation. It had even pierced through the ancient order S powerful Tao spell, a powerful bow that had taken away his feelings for his home, taken away half of his memories. When Wang Lin sat on the throne in the ancient order tomb and entered that dreamlike state, he personally saw the might of the Li Kuang bow. That arrow was enough to shake the world. In Wang Lin's eyes, even the realm ceiling formation would collapse before its power without any ability to resist. This bow didn't belong to this world. It was an important treasure from the hometown of the ancient order. This was the strongest treasure Wang Lin had seen beside the heaven-defying bead and the compass pointer from the fallen land. How could Wang Lin not be frightened by this treasure? His pupil shrank and he felt an indescribable chill spread across his body. He even felt waves of pain coming from between his eyebrows. All the hair on his body stood up and a sense of life and death appeared in his heart. This feeling rapidly spread across his body. That bow was taken away by the seven-colored Taoist back then, and now it is in his hands. This person is the head disciple of the Sovereign. Could the Sovereign have something to do with the seven-colored Taoist? Wang Lin stared at the young man in white with a cold gaze. The young man's face was aging rapidly as the bow absorbed his life force. He was drawing the bow by force using his life force. Aside from the seven-colored Taoist, Wang Lin could be the only person who knew the origin of this bow and seen this bow in action. The solemn look that appeared in his eyes aroused a lot of confusion in the others. From the view of outsiders, the young man in white was only at the early stage of Nirvana Scryer, and the bow in his hand gave off no fluctuations, as if it was an ordinary bow. Wang Lin's serious expression suppressed his mind, allowing him to enter a state of emptiness. It was as if everything else had disappeared, and only the bow that was being slowly drawn remained. Fortunately, this bow had no arrows. The only arrow had disappeared into the void after taking the ancient order S left eye. No one knew if that shocking arrow still existed, or where it was. Wang Lin thought that if he could find the arrow, he could find where the ancient order S left eye had gone. However, unless this arrow was in a place where no one existed, someone would have obtained it and shaken the stars. It could even cause a calamity as people fought for it, just like the heaven-defying bead. However, until now, Wang Lin hadn't heard of anything related to this arrow from old myths or legends. It was as if this arrow had disappeared without a trace. Although the bow without an arrow was still terrifying, it couldn't compare to how terrifying it was in the past. If it had the arrow, Wang Lin would have no chance of surviving a shot from his bow. He stared at the young man in white. All of this young man's actions became slow in Wang Lin's eyes. Wang Lin watched the young man raise his hand and slowly pull the bow string into a full moon. At this moment, Wang Lin felt intense pain coming from between his eyebrows. Under this intense pain, Wang Lin felt like a stake had pierced through his skull and into his brain. Sweat came from Wang Lin's forehead. All of this happened in the instant. Wang Lin turned and looked at the young man in white pulling the bow. When Wang Lin saw this bow, a monstrous roar came from his body. He turned around and his body became blurry as if he was going to fuse with the world. At the same time, Wang Lin rapidly raised his hand and his 7 ancient stars rotated like crazy and flew out of his forehead. The 7 stars rotated before him, giving off a powerful ancient god aura. As the ancient god aura spread, the ancient order head immediately appeared before Wang Li. All of this happened in an instant. Wang Lin had set up everything the instant he was going to leave. His reaction was so fast that even the young man in white was startled. Then there was a flash of coldness in his eyes. Could it be that he recognizes the bow? As the young man in white thought of this, his hand that was holding onto the bow string loosened. As the string loosened, there was a buzzing sound. At first it was weak, and a powerful light gathered on the bow. The young man's left hand was originally filled with flesh and blood, but at this instant, all the flesh and blood began to wither. It wasn't just his left arm. It rapidly spread until half his body was like a mummy. However, it was all hidden under his large robe, so others couldn't see it clearly. It was as if a large amount of his vitality had entered the bow the moment he loosened the string. The light gathered until it formed a milky white phantom arrow. When the bowstring loosened, this arrow shot forward. This arrow was very fast. It instantly broke through the void toward the gap in the realm ceiling formation that was less than 500 feet wide. As the phantom arrow closed in on the gap, that weak buzz suddenly reached a peak and turned into a roar that shook the heavens. The cultivators inside the realm ceiling formation, both inner and outer realm cultivators, were shaken by this roar. It was as if their minds and origin energy were being sucked away by this roar. This caused these countless cultivators to bleed from their orifices. There were cultivators from both sides that were already seriously injured that couldn't bear this roar. They coughed out blood, their origin souls collapsed, and they immediately died. The roar from his arrow caused Master Hong Shan, Master South Cloud, and the other third-step cultivators all stop fighting. They looked up with shock on their faces. Only the celestial imperial concubine and purple dream from the summoned river revealed a hint of fear in their eyes when they saw the bow. That bow! That bow is in his hand! A startling howl echoed as the phantom white arrow shot toward the gap inside the realm ceiling formation. The moment it charged in, even the realm ceiling formation trembled. Not just part of the realm ceiling formation, but the entire realm ceiling formation that sealed the entire inner realm began to tremble violently. As time goes on, a heavy dizziness is setting in. My mind can't cope. Tomorrow I will continue to burst forth with all my might. In 12 hours that will be doubling the likes for the video, hoping that everyone is ready with 2 likes for Leo. Thank you. Chapter 1531. The bow is here. If it was in the past, it would immediately cause the formation spirit to appear. However, the arrow was releasing a crazed will. This crazed pressure seemed to make the formation spirits retreat. It was as if they were afraid to appear. As the realm ceiling formation trembled, the 500 feet gap seemed to stop closing as if it was frozen. It allowed the white arrow to shoot straight at Wang Lin. Wang Lin was in a state of high concentration and seemed to have forgotten everything beside the white arrow. As he retreated, his body rapidly dissipated. The intense pain from between his eyebrows spread. It was as if a pair of invisible hands wanted to rip open his skull. The white arrow howled as it rushed through the realm ceiling formation and was less than 10,000 feet from Wang Lin. The howling of the arrow was extremely sharp. The killing intent inside this sound caused the cultivators in the inner realm to turn pale. The 1,000-foot distance was really insignificant. As the roar echoed, the 7-star Ancient Order head before Wang Lin began to distort violently. It was as if an indescribable power was closing in. This arrow was shooting to kill. In an instant, the arrow closed in and charged into the Ancient Order head. As the thunderous rumble echoed, not even Wang Lin's Ancient Order head was able to resist for long. The head was penetrated and the arrow was about to break through toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's body hadn't completely integrated with the world. As the white arrow closed in, the feeling of a life and death crisis increased. Wang Lin revealed a determined gaze and waved his hand. His ancient god body's hands went into the Ancient Order head and grabbed the white phantom arrow. The moment his hands touched the white arrow, Wang Lin felt a powerful force enter his body. Even his 7-star ancient god body felt it difficult to deal with this. His body trembled, and he coughed out blood. He was forced out from being half merged with the world and to retreat. Every step he took covered several dozen feet and would cause a thunderous rumble. Wang Lin had a fierce expression as he clung onto the arrow and retreated more than 10,000 feet. Blood continued to flow out as he retreated these 10,000 feet. He was already injured, and now his injuries were worse. Thunderous rumble sounded once more. Wang Lin stepped into the area the Outer Realm cultivators were being sealed by the ancient leaves. The moment he entered, a large amount of black fog came out of his back. As soon as an Outer Realm cultivator touched the black fog, their body would wither as all their life force had been drained away by Wang Lin. All of this happened in a flash. Just as Wang Lin was resisting the arrow using this method, the man in white outside the realm ceiling formation became gloomy and drew the bow once more. It should be over. As the young man spoke those 4 words, his face rapidly aged from a youth to an old man. His hand that had pulled the bow to a full moon loosened, and the second white arrow shot out. A sharp howl charged into the gap in the realm ceiling formation with the arrow, heading toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin was already at a disadvantage while facing 1 arrow. 2 arrows was life and death for him. Wang Lin's pupils shrank. The fire in his left eye rotated like crazy and the thunder in his right eye flickered madly. The essences in his body suddenly erupted. It was too late to think too much right now. He only knew that if he didn't destroy this arrow in his hand before the second arrow arrived, he would die. A frenzied aura suddenly appeared in the Cloud Sea-Star system and charged over. When the aura got near, the shadow of a barefoot middle-aged man appeared before Wang Lin. Wang Lin knew this barefoot man. It was the powerful, fierce beast that was sealed by the last lord of the sealed realm, Tai Luo. He had chosen to face the second arrow for some unknown reason, buying Wang Lin precious time for a chance to survive. The moment he appeared, he let out a heaven-shaking roar. His hands formed a seal and he stepped toward the second arrow. As his hands formed seals, fine scales began to appear around Tai Luo. These scales were thin and black, and they soon covered his body. I can only delay it for 3 breaths for you. A thunderous rumble echoed when his hands collided with the arrow. A shocking force came from the arrow and entered his body. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, and his arms began to distort. It was as if he couldn't withstand the arrow and was about to be pierced through. He let out a roar, and as his body trembled, the scales on his body flew off. These scales suddenly formed a shield. There were 3 strange golden scales at the center of the shield. His hands that were holding off the arrow collapsed into a bloody mess. Then the second arrow rushed out and collided with the scale shield. A heaven-shaking rumble echoed. The scale shield trembled and the scales along the edges collapsed. In a flash, only the 3 golden scales remained. This lasted 1 breath. These 3 golden scales collapsed in 2 breaths, and Tai Luo retreated with a bitter smile. The second arrow wasn't targeted at him, so he was able to retreat when he was no match. Luo had done as he promised and delayed for 3 breaths. These 3 breaths were extremely precious to Wang Lin. During the first breath, Wang Lin had bitten the top of this tongue and spat out a mist of blood before him. During the second breath, the destructive fire from the realm burning umbrella gathered toward Wang Lin from all directions. The fire surrounded him and fused with the blood before him. This formed a destructive force, and it confronted the arrow he had clenched in his hand. During the third breath, the black fog behind Wang Lin spread out like crazy toward the Outer Realm cultivators behind him. At the end of the 3 breaths, the arrow collided with the destructive fire fused with Wang Lin's Ancient Order blood. The arrow disintegrated layer by layer, but the impact was still terrifying. After disintegrating, the arrow only carried 20% of its original power. It broke through the blockade formed by Wang Lin's hand and shot toward the area between his eyebrows. During this process, the arrow disintegrated even more until it was 3 inches from Wang Lin's brow and was only 10% of its original size. A thunderous bang rang out when the very small residual of the arrow collided with the area between Wang Lin's eyebrows. Miserable screams echoed across the world. It wasn't from Wang Lin but from the Outer Realm cultivators behind him. All the Outer Realm cultivators surrounded by the black fog withered into dried-up corpses. The broken arrow collapsed, and Wang Lin's body was soaked in sweat. However, the danger was not over. The second arrow was closing in. It was impossible to avoid it. Wang Lin revealed a crazed expression. He let out a roar and his right hand pointed at the sky. At this critical moment, he couldn't care about the consequences anymore. His right hand reached out and the umbrella flew toward him while shrinking. Wang Lin then grabbed the handle of the umbrella. Holding it in his grasp, Wang Lin's life force rapidly flowed into the ancient umbrella. His ancient god body was filled with life. At this moment of danger, he didn't have time to think. His ancient god body immediately showed signs of withering. The umbrella was originally open 10%. At this moment, as Wang Lin was injecting life force into it like crazy, the monstrous fire inside raged. When the second arrow was less than 100 feet away, Wang Lin let out a roar and mercilessly pushed the umbrella open. 20%. At this instant, the ancient umbrella was opened 20% by Wang Lin's suicidal method. The destructive fire that could burn space itself rushed out from the umbrella. The space around Wang Lin collapsed before the sea of fire as if it was being refined, revealing the void below. When the second arrow closed in, it collided with the umbrella that was open 20%. Thunderous rumbles echoed, and the second arrow trembled as if it was going to melt. However, a force came from the bow that caused the arrow to pierce through the sea of fire and struggle to close in on Wang Lin. All of this happened in an instant. A 100 feet distance could be crossed in an instant by a cultivator, much less the arrow. Wang Lin's body was already withered, but at this moment, he injected even more vitality into the umbrella. He looked like an old ancient god near the end of his life. His powerful body was now like a corpse. The realm-burning umbrella absorbed more vitality and opened up even more as Wang Lin let out a shocking roar. Although it hadn't reached 30%, it was infinitely close. As a result, the fire that came out became even more terrifying. The second arrow collapsed 10 feet away from Wang Lin. However, as it collapsed, the power from the bow rushed out and collided with Wang Lin's chest. There caused a thunderous bang. Wang Lin coughed out blood and a tearing pain came from his chest. This intense pain caused him to rapidly retreat as he coughed out blood. However, as he retreated, his eyes lit up. He hadn't been seriously injured in a long time, and this injury had caused his killing intent to soar. He waved his hand as he retreated, and a monstrous bloodlight appeared. The blood sword appeared. It could destroy anything, but only if they were corporeal. If put up against the white arrow made of vitality, it didn't have much use. The blood sword flew out toward the gap in the realm ceiling formation that was now less than 200 feet wide. However, at this moment, Wang Lin grabbed it, suppressed his killing intent, and dissolved this impulse. There is something wrong with this. I have failed to kill that person and to lure him out. The cultivator in white that had already become an old man was filled with disbelief, and his expression was gloomy. He was amazed at how he couldn't kill Wang Lin after shooting 2 arrows. At this point, he had already lost too much vitality and could only sigh in his heart with a sense of pity. He coldly looked at Wang Lin through the realm ceiling formation before turning to walk away. However, just as he retreated, a demonic energy came from the Cloud Sea Star system. This demonic energy was extremely fast. It was on par with the speed of the arrow from before. As the demonic energy spread, the ancient demon from the ghost sect appeared as a phantom near the realm ceiling formation. The 9 stars in his left eye rotated. His eyes were filled with greed as he stared at the bow in the old man's hand. However, his body was only a phantom, meaning his real body hadn't come. Although he had 9 stars in his eye, they were a mere projection. While grinning, he closed in on the cultivator in white and mercilessly clawed at him. He had waited for this opportunity for some time. In truth, he was already here when the cultivator in white appeared, but he was afraid of the bow's power. So he had waited until the old man was about to leave. As the 9-star ancient demon closed in on the cultivator in white, he suddenly turned around and revealed a smile that wasn't TA's smile. The big fish didn't come, but a small fish came. An invisible pressure spread out from the ancient star system. It turned into an invisible palm print that silently pressed down. The expression of the 9-star ancient demon's avatar changed and the greed in his eyes suddenly disappeared. He screamed and anxiously retreated to avoid the palm. However, he was too slow and was grabbed by the palm before he could return to the realm's ceiling formation. The palm mercilessly squeezed, and the 9-star ancient demon's avatar collapsed into a large amount of demonic energy. The palm absorbed all the demonic energy and then disappeared. The sovereign's head disciple, Feng Yi, came on the order of my teacher to send this bow to the fellow cultivators of the inner realm. The bow is here. The 2 arrows were meant to show the power of this bow. If anyone is confident, you can try to take it. The cultivator in white clasped his hands and let go of the bow. The bow floated before the gap in the realm ceiling formation. A soft light came from the bow. It gave off an attraction that would make one crazy. Teacher has passed down the order to give the inner realm 3 chances to take this bow. You must send back 30% of our outer realm cultivators for each try. Do you guys want it or not? There was killing intent in Wang Lin's eyes. If he hadn't made the nether beast his life essence beast, then opening the umbrella like that would be expended 90% of his life force. However, even with the nether beast, he couldn't do it often. Although the nether beast had nearly endless vitality, it still couldn't withstand the crazy consumption of the ancient umbrella. What is the sovereign doing this for? He seems to be a little scared. He wants to use this bow to lure someone to appear. The second watch has come. So thankful for the praise from the new clan leader. Last night Leo started from the starting point, immediately saw a new follower. I'm ecstatic. Thank you everyone. You are listening to a completely free audiobook on the Leo Audio YouTube channel. If you enjoy the story, please like the video to motivate the channel. Support Leo with a cup of coffee through the description link or on the screen. If you want to hear any other stories, just comment and let Leo know. Thank you very much for watching the video. Chapter 1532. Old Ghost John. The inner realm was completely silent. The third step cultivators battling Master South Cloud and Master Hong Shan had retreated from the battle. They looked coldly from the side. However, the red celestial imperial concubine had a gloomy expression. She didn't know this bow would appear, and after hearing Feng Yi's words, a slight hint of anger appeared on her face. She knew that she had become someone's pawn. The red celestial imperial concubine let out a cold snort and looked at Purple Dream from the summoned river. She no longer looked at anyone else and flew toward the gap in the realm ceiling formation. No one stopped her, and Master South Cloud's eyes lit up. The red celestial imperial concubine had entered the ancient star system and disappeared without a trace. As for the cold-looking boy and the rest, they silently pondered as they retreated and left through the gap one by one. What? No fellow inner realm cultivator would dare to take this bow. The sovereign's head disciple shook his head and looked at the inner realm cultivators. The gap in the realm ceiling formation had recovered to 100 feet, and the edge of the formation was about to close completely. However, when it was less than 70 feet wide, the huge palm that had collapsed suddenly reappeared and grabbed the realm ceiling formation. Thunderous rumbles echoed as it used great force to tear at the gap. The gap that had almost healed was ripped open several thousand feet. The thunderous rumble was deafening, and an irresistible pressure came from the hand. Master Hong Shan and company were shocked by this pressure and quickly retreated. Wang Lin's face was also pale. He was forced to retreat at several thousand feet due to the pressure. Master Hong Shan's eyes turned cold. As he retreated, he took a step forward and waved his right hand. Red light appeared and shot toward the palm that was tearing the gap in the realm ceiling formation open. At the same time, Master South Cloud hit his forehead with his palm. His body trembled and shadows of clouds appeared behind him. These clouds condensed into statues that lined up to form a formation. They followed after Master Hong Shan's red light toward the huge palm. The summoned river's Purple Dream, the beautiful middle-aged woman, Master Lu Fu, and Tai Aluo all attacked at the same time. Various spells flew out and fused with Master Hongshan and Master Southcloud as spells, forming a heaven-shaking storm that flew toward the giant palm, ripping open the formation. With Wang Lin's command, esteemed Ling Dong and Zhou Jin also launched their spells. It could be said that all the third-step cultivators of the inner realm had launched their spells to create this storm. Wang Lin's ancient god stars rotated rapidly and he waved his right hand. The ancient god head appeared and suddenly turned into a huge fist. The fist was covered in fire and thunder. Thunderous rumbles echoed as it fused with the storm, creating the most powerful blow from the inner realm and shot toward the palm. In a flash, the most powerful attack from the inner realm collided with the palm. The moment they collided, a powerful demonic energy came from the inner realm to form the 9-star ancient demon. His eyes were filled with hatred as he opened his mouth and spat out demonic energy. This demonic energy turned into a huge demonic dragon and shot forward. The moment the demonic dragon flew out, the 9 ancient demon stars flew out from his left eye and fused with the demonic dragon. It fused with the storm and shot toward the palm. Thunderous rumbles shook the star system. Everyone in the inner and outer realms could hear this clearly. The storm collided with the palm, creating a boundless shockwave that scattered in all directions. As the thunderous rumbles echoed, Master Hongshan and company coughed out blood and quickly retreated. Under the powerful impact, 4 of the 5 fingers immediately collapsed. Just at this moment, Wang Lin's ancient order punch arrived, landing on the last finger. Thunderous rumbles echoed and Wang Lin's body trembled, and blood flowed down from the corner of his mouth. Pain came from his right hand as if the bones were broken. He retreated once more. When the last finger on the palm was hit by Wang Lin's ancient order punch, it showed signs of collapse. At this moment, the demonic dragon from the 9-star ancient demon landed, and the last finger collapsed. Only the palm remained, and it was knocked back by the joint attack of all the third-step cultivators from the inner realm. The shock waves spread into the realm ceiling formation. This caused the formation to tremble and the gap to expand rapidly. During the shock wave, the bow was still floating there, as if this force was insignificant before it. The soft light around it merely distorted a bit. The palm that had lost the 5 fingers released a 5-colored light. It looked as if the 5 fingers were going to regenerate. However, just at this moment, a shocking change occurred. The space behind Wang Lin and the others trembled. A roar powerful enough to shock anyone came from the inner realm behind them. The roar seemed to be a universe away, but in a flash, it became monstrous. The expressions of Master Hongshan and company changed greatly. Wang Lin also looked back. He saw a scene he could not forget in his life. 9 burning cultivation planets. 9 cultivation planets burning like the sun flew through the star system. Space itself shattered due to their speed, and countless ripples spread due to their hot temperature. They moved very fast and closed in a flash. They charged toward the bow that was floating outside the realm ceiling formation. The giant palm that was recovering waved and blocked before the bow. It collided with the first burning planet. Thunderous rumbles echoed as the first burning planet turned into a powerful force. When it collided with the palm, it collapsed, and the powerful impact forced the palm to retreat. However, before it retreated 10,000 feet, the second planet arrived, and the palm retreated once more. The third cultivation planet closed in and collided with the palm. The giant palm trembled and suddenly exploded. When it exploded, a black-robed shadow walked out. The black-robed shadow was the sovereign that Wang Lin had seen outside the ancient order tomb. After he appeared, he didn't say a word and he waved his hand. A bright light came from his withered hand. It was as if his hand had become the first eternal light in this world. His raised right hand pressed down on the 4th cultivation planet. A thunderous rumble echoed and the 4th planet collapsed, but the black-robed shadow also retreated a few steps, and the light in his hand collapsed. The 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th planets all arrived at the SME time. When they got close to the black-robed shadow, they all exploded at once, forming an indescribable impact that spread in the ancient star system. A heat wave spread into the depths of the ancient star system. As the heat wave passed, the starry sky shattered. The black-robed shadow was pushed back, and he coughed out a mouthful of blood. It was as if his body was going to be ripped apart. "You not dead?" A hoarse voice filled with shock came from the person in black. "I'm not dead." A voice that came from an unknown place in the inner realm rushed out into the outer realm like crazy. the ninth burning planet smashed down on the black-robed shadow. The black-robed shadow let out a roar in his hand, quickly formed a seal. A giant well appeared behind him, and there was a crescent moon reflected in the well. At this moment, the black-robed shadow's dried-up left hand reached into the well water. He fished up the crescent moon from the well. One couldn't tell if he had fished up the well water or the crescent moon. In short, there was a large amount of water, and inside the water was a crescent moon. After he fished it out, the black-robed shadow waved his hand, and the well water flew toward the ninth planet. The two immediately collided, but the well water quickly evaporated. In a flash, the well water was turned into white gas. However, at the same time, the cultivation planet was torn to pieces. One could clearly see a crescent moon mark appear on the planet. This mark penetrated the planet, causing it to collapse and pierce into the void. Back then, when I slaughtered my way into the outer realm, none of the 5 masters were my match, and I stole a large amount of Joss flames. Today we meet again, and you're still so weak. The voice was ancient, but it was extremely domineering. The moment the voice finished speaking, a blurry figure appeared where the crescent moon was going to land. The figure waved his right hand and wrote down the word battle. The word battle caused the crescent moon to collapse. People only know that he used the power of a roar to drive you out, but they don't know about the warning within that roar. If you dare to take a step into the inner realm, you will without a doubt die. You are as timid as a mouse. Little palm print servant boy, you dare to call yourself sovereign? Aside from members of the Li family, no one else can make it recognize it as their owner. Since you have taken it out as bait, this old man will accept it. The blurry figure's voice was calm, and he stepped toward the bow that was floating there. Old Ghost John, you are still not dead. The black-robed shadow raised his head. The top part of the robe was torn into pieces, revealing the face below. The new chapter is late, but it has over 500 more words than the previous ones. I hope not to be hit. Wishing for the like button for the video. Chapter 1533. Nether Beast Awakens. It was an extremely old face filled with wrinkles. It was as if his body had been alive for far too long. Those wrinkles were like gullies, and they gave off an ancient aura. There was a mark between his eyebrows. This mark looked like a scar, as if someone had branded him countless years ago. As for the shape of this mark, no one could see it clearly. Although this person was old, there was not a single hair on his face. It was as if hair would never grow on his face, or should never appear on his face. Sovereign, little palm print servant boy. His face was pale as he stared at old Ghost John. His eyes were filled with endless hatred, but he didn't dare to open his mouth. He grabbed his head disciple and quickly escaped. The vague figure closed in on the bow floating there. He raised his right hand and reached toward the bow. Just as he was about to grab it, the blurry figure exclaimed lightly. His expression seemed to change, but he didn't withdraw his right hand but reached out even faster. The string of the bow was pulled straight, but at the end a 7-colored light flashed. As the 7-colored light flashed, the string of the bow snapped. There are indeed 7 colors. The blurry figure's eyes shined brightly. There was a buzz and a miserable roar came from the broken string. The 7-colored light flew out along with the arc formed by the broken string. The bowstring was originally not long, but at this moment it extended indefinitely. Everything within the arc was separated from normal space. The eyes of the blurry old man let out a cold snort as he grabbed the bow and threw it back into the inner realm. At the same time, he quickly retreated, but he was cut off by the bowstring. Normally he wouldn't care, but the bowstring gave off a 7-colored light. He raised his right hand and wrote the word battle 7 times in a row. The moment the 7 words appeared, they were broken by the bowstring. When the 7 words shattered, the old man's expression became solemn. He spat out a mouthful of white energy and formed a white word battle. The bowstring closed in and collided with the white word, causing it to pause for a moment. During this pause, the blurry figure retreated back into the realm ceiling formation. 7-colored Taoist, you really did attack. This was your third and last chance. Million cultivation spirit prints, since you have taken the initiative to break the seal, this old man will wait. The moment he entered the realm ceiling formation, the white word dissipated, and the bowstring lashed out on the realm ceiling formation. The formation trembled. Before the formation spirits could appear, a large crack appeared within the formation and the bowstring entered the inner realm. The ones closest to the realm ceiling formation were not the summoned river or all heaven cultivators, but the tens of thousands of Outer Realm invaders that were trapped by Wang Lin's ancient leaves. At this moment, the bowstring lashed out into the area sealed by the ancient leaves. There were no miserable screams, as it happened too fast. Only after the bowstring had swept past did the tens of thousands of Outer Realm cultivators collapse. The bowstring was not something they could withstand, and they were cut in half. The blurry old ghost John revealed a sneer and disappeared without a trace when the bowstring closed in. He had appeared suddenly and left just as suddenly. It was as if he had only come to confirm something and bring the bow into the inner realm at the same time. From when he arrived to the moment he left, he never even looked at the bow. There was no need to mention the cultivators here. Including Wang Lin, all of them were irrelevant like ants. If this bow recognizes an owner, it is a treasure. If not, it will take life force to use, and it will be extremely weak. If any one of you likes it, you can take it to play. His voice echoed and slowly dissipated. All of this happened in an instant. The bowstring snapped, the realm sealing formation collapsed, and countless people died. The bowstring seemed to have released all its power, and the broken string followed where the bow was thrown by old Ghost John into the inner realm. It just happened to go toward Wang Lin. Was this a coincidence or not? To take or not to take? These two decisions suddenly appeared in Wang Lin's mind as he watched the bow closing in. The bowstring had lost some power, but it was still flailing around, causing the space around it to collapse. This bow, I'll take it. Wang Lin revealed a deceived gaze. He was very close to the bow, and at this moment he stepped forward and reached for it. He grabbed the bow. The moment he grabbed the bow, a powerful force entered his right hand. His right hand collapsed under this powerful force. Blood splattered everywhere, and the bow was about to fly off. Madness appeared in Wang Lin's eyes, and his left hand grabbed the bow. His left arm rumbled and became a bloody mess, but it didn't collapse. However, when he caught the bowstring lashed out toward his waist and penetrated through. Intense pain washed over him like a wave. Under this pain, even Wang Lin let out a miserable scream. A crack appeared on his waist, and his body below his waist separated from his upper half. His body was split in half by the bowstring. The body below his waist collapsed into a bloody mess. Wang Lin's face turned pale and he was thrown back. His vision was blurry. The price of obtaining the bow was too great. As Wang Lin was thrown back by the bow, he clearly felt it emit a powerful rejection force. It was as if no one else could make it recognize them as its owner. If you wanted to control this bow, you would have offered your life force. Otherwise, even if you held it in your hands, you couldn't draw it. When Wang Lin felt the stubborn aura from the bow, the intense pain caused him to cough out blood. Only his upper body remained. Aside from when he went into the ancient order tomb, this kind of injury was rare. The nether beast had been asleep since devouring the golden storm, but it was still connected to Wang Lin. This intense pain entered its mind and caused the sleeping nether beast to awaken at this moment. The moment it awakened, a ray of ghostly light flew out from Wang Lin's body. At first it was not big, but it soon grew very large. The nether beast's huge body suddenly appeared in this chaotic space. Feeling this intense pain, the nether beast seemed to forget its fear and let out a heaven-shaking roar. It opened its mouth, but not to devour. Instead, a monstrous golden light seemed to release along with the roar. Golden storm. The golden storm it devoured but hadn't managed to digest was spat out. This golden light soon made it so it was impossible to see anything else. The golden light rapidly expanded as it was ejected and flew toward the realm sealing formation. This golden storm was strong enough to destroy a star system, and almost no one could resist.